Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts and you'll be glad you did.
Stop spending time with the wrong people. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends. Stop trying to be someone you're not. One of the greatest challenges in life is being yourself in a world that's trying to make you like everyone else. Someone will always be prettier. Someone will always be smarter. Someone will always be younger. But they will never be you. Don't change so people will like you. Be yourself, and the right people will love the real you. Stop trying to hold on to the past. You cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Stop being scared to make a mistake. Doing something and getting it wrong is at least 10 times more productive than doing nothing. Every success has a trail of failures behind it, and every failure is leading towards success. You end up regretting the things you did not do far more than the things you did. Stop getting involved in relationships for the wrong reasons. Relationships must be chosen wisely. It is better to be alone than to be in bad company. There's no need to rush. If something is meant to be, it will happen at the right time, with the right person, and for the best reason. Stop rejecting new relationships just because old ones didn't work. In life, you'll realize that there's a purpose for everyone you meet. Some will test you, some will use you, and some will teach you. But most importantly, some will bring out the best in you. Stop trying to compensate against things that are not there. And stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. I just have to repeat this. This warrants a repeat. Stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never, ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst, that are your true friends.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Louder than I can the beat. I am here calling you, oh Lord, praying to you, singing to you, oh Yahushua, because they made us slaves in our own land. I can remember once upon a time in the Bible where the Israelites used songs and praises to break down the wall of Jericho. This is the kind of miracle we need for our freedom. We know you can answer us as you answer Israelite the days of their slavery in Egypt. They might shoot us, they might kill us. Bloodshed everywhere. Give us Biafra. Give us freedom. Oh Lord, Yahushua, I call upon you.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people. Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Yes, this is not an account. All we want is Biafra people.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. Oh Lord, I God. Oh Lord, I God. We need our freedom. We need our peace to reign. We need our freedom. We need some peace to reign. Killing and fighting everywhere. We need some peace to reign. Suffers everywhere. Brothers do not know his brothers anymore. Let us keep our hands together as one. Peace to reign. Oh Lord, my God. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra.
Louder than I can the beat.
All we want is freedom.
I am here calling you, oh Lord, praying to you, singing to you, oh Yahushua, because they made us slaves in our own land. I can remember once upon a time in the Bible where the Israelites used songs and praises to break down the wall of Jericho. This is the kind of miracle we need for our freedom. We know you can answer us as you answer Israelite the days of their slavery in Egypt. They might shoot us, they might kill us. Bloodshed everywhere. Give us Biafra. Give us freedom. Oh Lord, Yahushua, I call upon you.
I God. Oh Lord, I God. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom.
DJ on the Master 2020. I think champion who back on a Kungo and on the Lord before you became with you. Big up on the state safe, wherever the coronavirus money before one. Before what they say about holiday now, what can you just say? I want to know before you became with you.
Yes, this is not an accountability. All we want is Biafra people.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. Oh Lord, my God. Oh Lord, my God. We need our freedom. We need justice to reign. We need our freedom. We need justice to reign. Killing and fighting everywhere. We need justice to reign. Justice everywhere. Brothers do not know his brothers. Let us keep our hands together as one. Peace to reign. Oh Lord, my God. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra.
Lord, and I can't beat.
All we want is freedom.
I am here calling you, oh Lord, praying to you, singing to you, oh Yahushua, because they made us slaves in our own land. I can remember once upon a time in the Bible where the Israelites used songs and praises to bread on the wall of Jericho. This is the kind of miracle we need for our freedom. We know you can answer us as you answer Israelite the days of their slavery in Egypt. They might shoot us, they might kill us. Bloodshed everywhere. Give us Biafra. Give us freedom. Oh Lord, Yahushua, I call upon you.
My God. Oh Lord, my God. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom.
Together, together, together. The more we fight together, the stronger we shall be. The more we fight together, together, together. The more we fight together, and stronger we shall be.
Rising sun, rising sun.
Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. We've been crying, the world claim not to hear. And we've been lamenting, the world claim not to hear. Our tears flow, the world claim not to see. And our blood flow, the world claim not to see. This is a crime, oh no, against humanity. Oh no, yeah, this is a crime Eritrea spoke up. They were given independence. South Sudan spoke. They were given independence. Namibia spoke up. They were given independence. Give me the reason my people got to be neglected. Give me the reason my people got to be rejected. Give me the reason our freedom got to be a crime. Give me the reason our own freedom got to be denied. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it. Oh no. Oh. That was physical battle, and we're betrayed by the people them trust. Today heroes are fighting. This is a spiritual battle. Let us unite and give Biafra a meaning. If we don't take time, we can remain in this land. No freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of worship, no freedom of religion. Justice denied. Oh, of my own very people. Hey. Justice denied. Hey. On the rising sun. Hey. Justice denied. Oh, my freedom fighter. Yeah. What is so bad? My people wanna be liberated. What is so bad? My people wanna be independent. What is so bad? My people wanna be alone. This is the time we will make it known to the world. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hospitality, positive, education, positive, economic, positive, hospitality. I tell you what, positive. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africans. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of all. Rising soul. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. We've been crying, the world claim not to hear. And we've been lamenting, the world claim not to hear. Our tears flow, the world claim not to see. And our blood flow, the world claim not to see. This is a crime, oh no, against humanity. Oh no, yeah, this is a crime. Eritrea spoke out, they were given independence. South Sudan spoke, they were given independence. Namibia spoke out, they were given independence. Give me the reason my people got to be neglected. Give me the reason my people got to be rejected. Give me the reason our freedom got to be a crime. Give me the reason our own freedom got to be denied. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it. Oh no. Oh. Serious war, that was physical battle, and we're betrayed by the people them trust. Today heroes are fighting, this is a spiritual battle. Let us unite and give Biafra a meaning. If we don't take time, we can remain in this land. No freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of worship, no freedom of religion. Justice denied. Oh, no, of my own very people. Hey. Justice denied. Hey. On the rising sun. Hey. Justice denied. Oh, my freedom fighter. Yeah. What is so bad? My people wanna be liberated. What is so bad? My people wanna be independent. What is so bad? My people wanna be alone. This is the time we will make it known to the world. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hospitality, positive, education, positive, economic, positive, hospitality. I tell you what, positive. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africans. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. My people will cry. Biafrans will cry. My people are suffering. Oh, Biafrans are crying.
Mama. Hey, Mama, get finished. Because I need to be late. We are starting late.
No more than 3 hours broadcast.
Usually.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
over the world. This is Radio Biafra International, brought to you by Biafra Restoration Movement. You can get us through different platforms such as internet, Facebook, YouTube, RBI app, TuneIn app. For RBI, we're on satellite. You can just simply Google Radio Biafra International. My name is Odi Moalo, and I'm your anchor for the day. And as it is with our tradition, we always would say a prayer or two before we get started. Remember that this station is here under the Biafran Restoration Movement to inform, to educate our people, because information is power. And through that information, persuade them towards righteousness. So we enjoin you to listen. The root cause of our problems are definitely in our identity and who we are. And we are going to highlight those different nuances and aspects of them to bring clarity to us. As it is with every man on earth, it's always about choices and the choices we make. But we want our people to make informed choices so that we will not derail from the path of righteousness and victory. So we expect you to listen in as we broadcast. But we start with a prayer as a people of God, a people who are supposed to uphold the flag of righteousness in the whole world. We are Israelites, we are Hebrews, and we have one God that we worship, one and only true God. And that is Jehovah, the God of Israel. And through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. Most of us are Christians believing in the three Godhead. And it is this faith represents the light to the world, the light to the nations. It is that faith we hold on dearly. So let us pray. Our Lord and our God, the maker of heaven and earth, we, Biafrans, we worship you, we exalt you, we magnify you. There is none like thee, O Lord. Be thou exalted, not only in our individual lives, but in the life of our people as a collective, and the life of people who mention your name, who call on your name, who are known by your name. For we are nothing without you. There is nothing we are able to do without you. In you we live and have our being. So we say, praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come to his people and redeemed them. He has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. David, our own relative that lived about 1,300 years ago. As he said through his holy prophets of long ago, salvation from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to show mercy to our ancestors and to remember his holy covenant, the oath he swore to our father Abraham, to rescue us from the hand of our enemies and to enable us to serve him without fear in holiness and righteousness before him all our days, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. A great excerpt of this prayer was taken from Luke chapter 1, verses 68 to 75. Okay, today we will we will talk about issues as usual that are very important to us. We will educate our people. We will share information with our listeners, and that information, we believe, also spreads on to others. And we also receive information from our listeners and our audience, even from time to time. This is very necessary because it's through this communication that we will grow as a people into the better expectations of the future. We'll first of all start with a tribute to our fallen hero, Colonel Ejike Obuneme Ahanya. Recently, we have lost a number of great Biafran heroes. We lost Colonel Mobosi at 81 this November. And if you all remember in our broadcast a couple of months ago, we also lost Dr. Clement Chukwukadibia Onyemelukwe, the man who was known as the person that brought light to Nigeria, headed Nigeria's electric authority, which eventually became NEPA, Electric Power Authority. And but eventually he was person behind the construction of the Yuli Airport. In 1968, Yuli Airport in Biafra. This is one of we even see it as miracles of God in Biafra, where an airport was constructed, and for 3 good years, the enemies could not detect that airport. But that airport was so busy that within about 2.5 years, there was recorded 5,314 flights, bringing in about 60,000 tons of food. We thank God for all those people abroad, the World Council of Churches and Caritas, whom, because of God in their hearts, decided to respond to the threat of death, the threat of annihilation of a people in the Biafran relief flights, that they responded because of God in their hearts. The World Council of Churches and Caritas, without God in their hearts, it would have been difficult for them to do so. As we can see, we didn't get the response we needed from foreign governments, international organizations, even the United Nations under UTANT as Secretary General, could not provide relief for those who were under siege of annihilation. But it was the churches. So for those of you who are fond of criticizing the church and the messages of the church, please consider that as well. It is not always the issue which is the message of salvation that is the problem. It's the people who are managing it. So it's very important that we are able to divide issues properly. Okay, we remember Colonel Ihana Chotu, who died. These are heroes. And recently, we remember Ato Wankwo, who was the publisher, the owner of the publishing company, Fourth Dimension Limited. And this Fourth Dimension Publishers was located in Enugu. And he was his company that published The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War by Alexander A. Madiebo, who was the army chief of Biafra. We talk about Biafra because it is a very salient part of our history. It's a history that we cannot just deny or sweep under the carpet. Our enemies want us to do that, but we can't. Why should everybody else's history be held? They held on to their history, but we wouldn't hold on to ours. So we shouldn't succumb and be intimidated. not to celebrate our history and hold on strongly to it and pass it down to the generations to come. That is very, very important and critical because it is very relevant to our identity as a people. Your history is so relevant to your identity as a people. Your ancestry is too. So whenever identity becomes a problem for people, then you know that something is wrong somewhere. When they tell you, oh, well, you shouldn't mention that, you shouldn't say that, or you don't accept that you're Igbo, don't accept that you're Biafran, and then you accept that, but he accepts, the person who's telling you accepts who he is, and he wants to discuss his own history. There is a double standard there. So we must, it's important to remember what we went through as a people. That is why we always pray with Psalm 124, where it says that if the Lord had not been on our side when our enemies attacked us, when they hedged us in, we would have been destroyed as a people. But God responded. And how did he respond? He responded through people. He responded through, even foreigners, people who don't know us, people who haven't met. Today, we still enjoin our people to please, whenever you come across those who have worked to serve us, to thank them as a group of people where you are, to thank them. That is very, very important. I remember going through some people, heroes we had, who from the United States, and from different countries of the world, who helped us in that period of need. Some of them are dead, some, their children are still alive. There is no harm in you going to tell that child that, look, this is what your father did for us, this is what your mother did for us, and we are grateful to God for what he did. It goes a long way. A simple thing as saying thank you goes a long way, makes a big difference. So today we will talk about AGK Obuneme Ahanya. Remember the Biafran War. Some people say, oh, we fought, we went to fight. We didn't go to fight. What happened was that Biafran simply defended themselves. They had initiated a lot of efforts to ensure that we didn't go to war. But Nigerians never keep agreements. 3 agreements, they broke it down. And, as the time went on, we were able to see that Nigeria was not keeping any agreements, indeed. They just want to come and kill. And that's still the same problem we're having today. 50 years down the line, 53 years down the line, we still have the northern Islamic North. I keep talking about the Islamic North. They are oligarchs and they are aristocrats and, jihadist leaders, doing whatever possible to kill off the Christians. They've killed off the Christians in the north and to come to the south to take over. It's about conquest. That's all what the problem is all about. So, and let's make it that simple because we know that's what it is. And evidences abound over it. So, but we trust in our God and that they will be resisted successfully. If it's going to lead into a war, we will fight it by God's grace without any reservation. Fight it. And may the hand of God defeat them permanently. Because the trouble, the evil that comes from the Islamic North in Nigeria is terrible. And I've said it about Islam. Islam is a religion that has no respect for human rights. It has no accommodation for democracy. So for those who still believe that you have to have a country where Muslims and Christians will live side by side and live happily ever after, I tell you to please, like I said, Google on your phone Sharia law and study it. Just that Sharia law, because it's at the one of the central tenets of the religion. When you Google it, you read it, and then you think whether this is what can actually survive side by side with a secular society, with democracy, or whether it's tolerant of human rights. You be the judge yourself when you do that. So we today remembering how God delivered our people using men like Ejike Obuneme Ahanya. He was born on 27th November 1932, and he died actually in Atlanta in July the 3rd, 2020, this year. And he served in the Nigerian Army first, but eventually when Biafra left, he was in Biafra to fight for his people. He was a commanding officer of the Nigerian Army, electrical and mechanical engineers in Kaduna, commanding officer in Nigerian Army electrical and mechanical engineers. It is NAEME, that's what is known, the abbreviation, or the acronym, which is known by. He was in the Army headquarters, Lagos, was a battalion commander. And he was also a commanding officer in the Research and Production Agency, RAP. This Research and Production Agency did wonders for our people. It was through the Research and Production Agency that so many things were produced in Biafra. And that became a threat to the Western world. The threat is not even our neighbors in Nigeria as much as it's the Western world. The British had to finance that war. Even the Russians joined them. The British spent over $840 million then in 1960s. And if you translate the value of $840 million now, it comes to about $11 billion. That's what the British spent to ensure that you hold Biafra down. And I tell you, if somebody spent that much money on you, you are somebody. That's what it means. We are somebody. We shouldn't see it as, because we do the right thing. The only thing they want you to do simply is to succumb to their threats and their intimidation and their oppression and their wickedness, which we will never do because we are Israelites. We are people of God. We will never do that. Never. They are the ones who will go down in this because our God lives. These people didn't create us. Why should they want to subdue us unnecessarily? When we have done nothing wrong whatsoever to them. They are the ones who have. It's the British that took us in slavery, over 200 years. Took us to their plantations to work for them, took us and all our inventions and every other thing, they took it, they benefited from it. The wealth of Africa built Europe. I keep saying that. The wealth of Africa built Europe. They don't want it to be said, and these people have no shame. They come and assert themselves as being superior. Superior to what? Superior in terms of being a rogue, a thief. Superior in kidnapping 12 million people from Africa to go and work and oppress them and claim that how can you hold somebody down and you claim, oh, I'm better than the person? What type of wickedness is this? And it's being glorified in books. Oh, he was an explorer. Oh, he was this and that. This history will be rewritten because as long as those who are oppressing people keep lying and trying to legitimate lies, it will work. It will never stand. The truth will defeat the lie. That is why, despite the fact that 14 million Africans were taken across the Atlantic Ocean to different parts of the world, into the Atlantic world, by the Western Europeans, according to their own account, Africans have their own account, which is much more than that, and in terms of number of casualties. And then they claim that, the Africans sold 14 million people. And the question is, if you call it trade, transatlantic trade, slave trade, you call it a trade, the Africans sold people. What is the value of 40 million people? And why is it that the proceeds of these sales are not seen in Africa? What you have is about 60 trading posts, castles, all across the coast of West Africa, from the north down to the south, down to Congo, from Senegal to Congo or Angola. So what is it that is the profit. Where is the profit of this trade? They traded 40 million people and earned nothing from it. So this narrative is something that will change with time. And that is why the Radio Biafra International broadcast. So we go back to Ahanya, and I want to read a couple of things. It's very important. It says, AGK Ebenezer Obunema Ahanya was a military officer, electrical engineer who served in the Nigerian Army and the Biafran Armed Forces, retiring as a colonel. He was accused of involvement in 1966 Nigerian coup d'etat. That is the one they claimed was an Igbo coup. But today it is proven that there are other names there. It was true that Igbo officer ranks, the Igbo officers in the Nigerian Army then were many. There were almost 66% or 67% of them, and this was because the British was hiring people based on qualification. It wasn't quota. And the quota, as you can see, when it was instituted in Nigeria, has tanked the country today. How is the North handling Nigeria today? They have seen that governance is not about killing people and, stealing money, public money, and all the rest of that. You look at how the whole thing's collapsing just before that. They think it's jihad is how you get things done. What type of, thought is that? So we have here, it says that he was arrested in prisons without trial until the outbreak of the Nigerian Civil War, where he served on the side of Biafra, holding key positions in the Biafran armed forces. Let us remember that the people who were arrested and jailed, particularly in the East, and places where we have Eastern government had command, were the people who were freed. The ones who were jailed, even as close as Benin, they killed all of them, the Nigerian armed forces. Can you imagine when the armed forces of a country goes out and starts killing fellow soldiers who are innocent of any accusation? And then from there, they jump on and start killing civilians, the same citizens of the same country. This is what Nigeria does, and they have the guts to be talking. You see some of these people appear in media stations. They have the guts to be talking as if nothing happened. They refuse to discuss it, So what type of people are this? And and they want us not to talk about it. We will, because it's our history. It's our history. And Ejike Obunema Ahanya is one of those people that made had a very remarkable life in the history of our people, and that is why we remember him today. So he fought on the Biafran with the Biafran Armed Forces as a colonel. He was head of the Biafran Agency for Research and Production, RAP, which produced bombs, rockets, missiles, collectively called the Bunigo, as well as ammunition, armored vehicles, telecommunication gadgets, and petroleum refinery, among others, for the Biafran Armed Forces. Later, he was the chief of staff of the Biafran Organization of Freedom Fighters, BOF, which was the guerrilla warfare and special operations arm of the Biafran Armed Forces. And this special operations arm of the Biafran Armed Forces was highly effective. We should understand that it was highly effective. And he also served as battalion commander, 44th Electrical and Mechanical Engineering Battalion, Biafran Army, and later the brigade commander of the 58th Brigade of the 12th Infantry Division, Biafran Army, during the war. Ahanya received his primary school education in St. Cyprian Primary School, Port Harcourt, after which he attended Africa Grammar School in Nigeria, that is in Port Harcourt, graduating in 1953. His first degree was in electrical engineering from Yaba College of Technology in 1957. He went for postgraduate studies at the London Polytechnic, later transferred to the Southampton College of Technology, graduating in electrical and electronic engineering in 1960. This man was an engineer, qualified engineer, who was a colonel of the Biafran Army. He then joined the Nigerian Broadcasting Service, which became the president of the Nigerian Broadcasting Service Staff Union. So in 1962, Ahanya was seconded to the Nigerian Army. He received basic infantry training in the Nigerian Military Training College, Kaduna, and further attended officers' course and special training at the School of Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. Under Major General Dennis Redham at Aberfield Garrison, United Kingdom, from 1962 to 1963. He was commissioned into the Nigerian Army on 2nd March 1963 with service number N349 and the rank of captain. He served as commanding officer, Nigerian Army Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, Kaduna, from 1963 to 1964. And in 1964, he was promoted to major, and served as commanding officer, Nigerian Army Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, Army Headquarters, Lagos, becoming the first Nigerian to hold the command, taking over from the last British commanding officer, Major Wedo. So in the aftermath of the 1966 Nigerian coup d'etat, Ahanya was arrested on 18th January 1966, and together with Lieutenant Colonel Victor Banjo, accused of plotting to assassinate the military head of state, Major General Johnson Aguirre-Ronsi. Ahanya was detained without trial at the Kirikiri Maximum Security Prison, with others purportedly involved in the coup d'etat. He was later transferred to Enugu and subsequently Abakaliki prisons. Let us remember that what the northern northern officers were doing was simply to sweep all military officers from the east. They were not searching for the coup plotters. They were targeting Igbo people. That was all that was. So, in retrospect, those actively involved in the planning and execution of the coup, such as Major Adewale Ademoyoga, have attested to the innocence of both Ahanya and Banjo in their memoirs. You see, even those ones from the Southwest who were officers from Yoruba ethnic stock, they had written in their memos that Ahanya was not involved, but he has to be arrested because he's Igbo now. After the 1966 Nigerian counter coup in which Aguirre-Ronsi was murdered, Ahanya was released from prison in March 1967 at the orders of the then governor of the Eastern Region, Colonel, later General Odumegwu Ojukwu, defying the orders of new head of state, Colonel, later General Yakubu Gowon. In response, Gowon announced the release of Ahanya and others after the fact. Okay, but now let's talk about research and production department. The research and production department and the marvel of this section of the Biafran nation. So at the outbreak of the hostilities in July 1967, that marked the beginning of the Nigerian Biafran War, Ahanya was commissioned into the Biafran Army with the rank of colonel and appointed commanding officer of the 44th Electrical Mechanical Engineering Battalion, Biafran Army, by the then Chief of Staff Biafran Army, Brigadier Hilary Njoko. A few weeks into the conflict, he was further appointed as head of the Biafran Agency for Research and Production by General Ojukwu. In this position, Ahanya was in charge of coordinating Biafran scientists, engineers, and raw materials in a concerted effort at boosting the industrial production of war relevant materials for the Biafran government. Under his leadership, various scientific work groups were created to achieve specific goals. Priorities were weapons, ammunition, and fuel. To this end, he set up and supervised, among others. So Ahanya was the link between the RAP and the military, and the Biafran military, the Research and Production Department of Biafran military. Department that had very distinguished Biafrans, and let's see a little bit of what this, who comprises of this department, the Research and Production Department. It says here the anti-aircraft rockets, Pium group was headed by Engineer Seth Wanago, the fuel and petroleum groups headed by Dr. Obuehi, Engineer Onyenso, and Engineer Iteke, Obunigwe groups headed by Engineer Willie Achukwe, Engineer Austin Odiwe, Engineer Roy Meni, Engineer E. Kaine, Dr. Felix Oragu, the biological groups headed by Professor Njoko Obi and Dr. Okafor, The armored vehicle groups headed by Engineer Iwobi and Engineer Dike. The anti-tank warhead and rocket groups headed by Professor Ezilo, Professor Ezekwe, Dr. Felix Oragu, Engineer Kaine, Captain Ohanya, etc. The food preservation groups headed by Professor Njokobi, Dr. Ene, etc. The rocket fuel group headed by Dr. Akalonu from America. The hand grenade groups headed by Mr. B. Mobo and Engineer Okafor of Dockyard, Port Harcourt. The salt groups headed by Professor Ago Ogan, Dr. Obasi, and Mr. Ekechukwu. The matches and candle groups headed by Dr. Osisiogo, Dr. Caleb Wakama, and vehicles repair, modification, and renovation group headed by Engineer Roy Menyi, Engineer Ongubalili, Engineer Captain Ohanya. The telecommunication equipment modification group was headed by Professor Chijioke. The battery recondition and reproduction group was headed by Dr. Mike Machuku. The finance and general administration group was headed by Dr. B. Simosu, Ben Simosu. He was the one that headed the research and production department, but the military arm of it was headed by Ahanya. So these were the two men that coordinated to ensure that inventions were supplied and taken to the war front. He said under his command of RAP, the infamous Biafran Ogbunigwe weapons systems, which included command detonation mines, improvised explosive devices, and rocket-propelled missiles, were designed and mass-produced by the Republic of Biafra. According to Biafran government claims at the time, the RAP produced surface-to-air missile, Pyom Pyom, was the first rocket to be wholly designed, developed, mass-produced, and launched in Africa. Ahanya was in charge of supervising the various scientific groups he set up, supply of raw materials needed for production, as well as distribution of finished products to the troops. He was also in charge of training the troops on the use of the various homemade weapons, bombs, grenades, and missiles. To this end, he created various Ogbunigwe squads, which were distributed in the fire brigade style to the various war fronts as the need arose. Initially posted to Port Harcourt to help defend that town from the advances of Benjamin Adekunle's 3rd Marine Commando Division with his Biafra made mines, shore batteries, and missiles. He was later deployed with his Ogbunigwe troops to Onitsha by General Juku to defend the town against attacks from Murtala Mohammed's 2nd Division. Ahanya played a major role in the defense of Onitsha. Ahanya and his Ogbunigwe troops also played major roles in the defense of the towns of Abai, Kotepene, and Owerri. The Biafran Organization of Freedom Fighters, after the fall of some major Biafran enclaves such as Enugu, Abakaliki, Calabar, Kotepene, and Parakot, it became increasingly obvious that Biafra could not adequately defend herself using only conventional troops. Ahanya therefore approached General Juku and the new Biafran Army Chief of Staff, Major General Madiebo, with the proposal of setting up a guerrilla force in divisional strength, which was to operate behind enemy lines, especially the areas of Biafra occupied by Nigerian troops. The force was to be made up of civilians, including women, who, after having been trained in sabotage and the use of RAP-made explosive gadgets, would infiltrate behind enemy lines. Ahanya was given the assignment of setting up, equipping, and training the guerrilla force, which was named Biafran Organization of Freedom Fighters. He got a team of South African instructors under Colonel Jan Brittenbach to train the BOFF troops in sabotage and counterinsurgency. Ahanya was made the commanding officer of this new branch of the armed forces with title of Chief of Staff. Member of his staff included Chinua Achebe, Dr. Okwayokwo, and Dr. Okonjo. That is the father of Okonjo-Iweala. The headquarters of the BOFF division was located at Umuahia. Regarding aims, objectives, and modus operandi of BOFF, Ezenwohe to quote Ahanya as follows. Quote, the Biafrans did not have the firepower that could match the firepower of the other side, so it became necessary for us to plan and formulate our battles in terms of defense warfare. All the people who were thinking alike wanted to form an organization that would achieve these aims. The primary aim was to drive the enemy out of the land of Biafra and not capture strange lands. The organization was to involve fellow Biafrans in captured areas to help in driving the enemy out. Since the regular army was there, there was the need to demarcate areas of operation. The regular army operated in front while the BOF operated behind enemy lines. The aim was that as the regular army became weaker, then the Biafran freedom fighters would become stronger. BOF was the most important fighting force in Biafra. Aside from the regular army, in April 1968, it achieved a brief but spectacular feat by recapturing Asaba from the Nigerian Army 2nd Division, blocking off direct supply across the Niger. It also prevented the Nigerian Army 2nd Division from linking up with the 1st Division headquarters at Enugu by effectively blocking the Onitsha-Enugu road until the end of the war. By September 1968, they were operating extensively behind enemy lines in the Midwestern region and other areas of occupied Biafra. The BOF under Ahanya also played a major role in the recapture of Owerri in 1969. So Ahanya was married to Miss Comfort, a former Montebello. In 19th May 1962 in Birmingham, United Kingdom, he was a fellow and founding member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, member of the Council of Registered Engineers of Nigeria, a member of the British Institution of Electric and Radio Engineers. After the war, Ahanya established his private engineering company called Nikon Engineering Company, and was the first to have indigenously designed, patented, and produced traffic lights in Nigeria. He was a member of the Igbo Traditional Chieftaincy Title Holders Association, and also holding the title of Ochiagudo Namobia, a founding member of Ahanes and Igbo, and a founding member of the People's Democratic Party. So this is the brief history of this great man. I remember in this information, it shows that even our women were also involved, that they fought involved. I would like commentary on this before we go into other issues of Nigeria concerning Nigeria from Chuks Ikedibwe and our sister Oziomeme. I would like their commentary on this. The hero, Obuneme Ahanya, whom the Chief of Army Staff called the indomitable Colonel Ahanya. The Chief of Army Staff, Alexander Madiebo, in his book, The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War, I think it was published in 1980. And he said in page 104 that Colonel Ahanya was indomitable. So these are some of the great heroes of Biafra, which we will eventually, our children and children's children will read about in their books when we'll set the educational standard. So they will read about it. And what has affected some of the present generation was that we did not celebrate the achievements of our people, and then rather we go and celebrate other people's achievements. And what it does is that it makes your own children believe that they have, we didn't achieve much in the world. That there's something wrong with that. And he's not encouraged to defend his own identity. He will prefer to hide and pretend. And no, I don't say I won't say I'm Igbo because it will provoke other people. What type of nonsense is that? But they will speak their own languages before you and talk about who they are. And when it comes to us, some of us are acting that we should simply hide identity. There's something wrong with that. So I'd like Chuks Ikedibwe, if I can get in contact with him.
Okay, I'm here. Good evening.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Good evening, Biafrans. Good evening, everybody, for joining us. Ahanya was really a hero, just like you said. He was an indomitable person. He's a person that every other person will emulate. Okay. Obumneme is his other name. Ebenezer is one of his other names too. He is one of those men that every other person now look forward to. Okay, it's an unsung hero in that aspect. But the good thing is that we in RBI, we don't leave our heroes unsung. We sing their praises. and that's why we're immortalizing him today. That's why we are remembering him. That's why we're paying this tribute to him. He's a man after my own heart, after our own heart. He's a man that really made us proud during the war. His name might not really be one of those most notable one for those who look at things from the surface, but we that look at it from the depth, we know that he was one of the greatest Biafran soldiers. He gave all that he has for Biafra to come. He lived a wonderful life, but we would have been happier if he had lived to see Biafra come. Unfortunately, he did not, but fortunately enough, we are sure that his spirit, his soul, his body, we go to fertilize the coming of Biafra for us. So we look forward to happening in nearest future. Ahanya remains one of the greatest fighters of all time. It's a colonel. He was a colonel in the Biafran army, and we will never forget his contributions during the war. He really gave all and all. So I'll be stopping here, but it's a man that the coming generation will read about. Just like you said, they will read about and they will wonder how come we lost the war even when we had people like this. People like Ahanya in our team. Ahanya is a man that you can never lose if you have him in your team. Fortunately, we lost them, but we know we did not really lose the essence of the fight. So the essence of the fight is still with us, and that's what our generation has to accomplish right now. Thank you for listening. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chuksi Keribu, for that. That war, as you all well know, was lost because there was no weapons. We just started with nothing, just a handful of bolt-action rifles. They say 127 years, police rifles. That's what we started. And then our people could not believe that the West, southwestern Nigeria, would sort of, move over. Awolowo led his people to move over to the north, to join them. And over evil, and committed this evil of 2 billion Biafrans being starved to death. The greatest genocide in Africa, and one of the greatest, the worst in the world. One of the, worst genocides, it was great and evil in its enormity, and we did not suppose that the British would turn against us. Oh, we thought they were so civilized, huh? Yeah. That's the only thing is civilized until it comes to money and oil and all the rest of it. And they're willing to kill everybody to take it. Then you see that person you're looking at as being civilized because he's on suit and tie. And then he went to Oxford. That man is a devil incarnate. Nothing makes somebody, somebody simply because he went to school somewhere and put on suit and tie and then go and commit evil. We as Biafrans do not regard people like this. We have no respect for that. We have disdain for people who play such a role on earth. That is why we are a different people from other people, because we fear God. And when you fear God, look, you do not promote evil. You cannot. That is the why Biafrans are special. And those who want to be as special as Biafrans, join us, please, and condemn evil when you see one. That is what makes you a special person. And that is the role of the people of God. So even Russians joined the British, an unholy alliance was formed, all against Biafra, so that Africa would not rise. We must be kept down. We must be made to act like we are beggars while our resources are exploited. And in the Western media, put us up as people who don't know what they're doing. And a lot of Africans are not ashamed about that too. You just see them, they're like, they just eat and they're happy. What type of thing is that? When this is happening to you, you need to stand up and resist it. And, that is why even in Nigeria, there's no advocacy for equity as it should. There's no advocacy for equality. There's no advocacy to uphold human rights as it should be. There's no advocacy to uphold democracy, transparency, and accountability in the electoral system. Those are not really there. They are pretending. There is no condemnation of the evil that the Islamic North has foisted on Nigeria, on Africans, the Arabs, who are what do you call them? The Fulani people, and the other ones is East and West Kanuri. The other one is Boko Haram. The other one is Fulani. They are giving everybody a problem. The Arabs, and this is what we see even today. Killing people everywhere, seizing government power simply to use it for conquest. That is all they are doing there. They are doing that. And you see people, Nigerians are talking about, development, how Nigeria will develop, how this. No, face the problem. The problem is Fulani and Kanuri people and Islamists that are there. Hausa people are not like that. They hold them down, they're using them. So face your problems and stop dancing around political issues. Talking about, yes, we have to, and what that Nigerians are lying from that is when they start using pronouns. Unless we do so and so in Nigeria, who are we? Who are causing this problem? Please place the problem at the feet of the people who are causing it. Stop this we and he, she, our. Unless our this, we have to. No, but then Igbo that hasn't done anything wrong, you're fast to mention them. Evil people. You people are evil. That is why that country is reduced that way. You lie, you cheat, you hate, you do all kinds of evil things and have reduced that country to what it is today. The poverty and terrorism capital of the world. It needs to be talked about, and we shouldn't lose sight of that. Poverty and terrorism capital of the whole world. What type of thing is this? And Nigerians are saying, let's we. No, it is Fulani and the Kanuri people who are in the military and in politics. They are the ones who have seized the government, seized everything, killing everybody, stealing the oil. They are criminals. Their culture is full of criminality, full of shedding of blood, innocent blood. Can you imagine a people known for that? And we have one who came down to Port Harcourt to talk. But we will talk about that later in this thing. These people are disgusting. They are disgusting beyond imagination. And some people will come and be discussing them as if their crimes is just a misdemeanor. Is it misdemeanor to massacre people? Misdemeanor to seize the government? Misdemeanor to impose Sharia law on 12 states of the north? And impose a judge who is the only qualification is that he's Sharia law. Is the Sharia law on the Supreme Court of a nation that is supposed to be secular. These are what Nigerians cannot open their mouth and attack Fulani people head on for what evil they are doing. That is why those people are. Nigerians is unbelievable. Talk about NSAS. There's NSAS, end Fulani violation of fundamental human rights. You have a constitution that is forged by them. Sorry about that. You have a constitution that is forged by them. And they implement a constitution that's a forgery. That is forgery. That's what you're under. And everybody, wants to go on like, if you end SARS, that is it. No. SARS is not just, SARS is a product of Fulani governance. Matt Bello said it, that we should make sure these people cannot control themselves. And that's what the evil people, that's all they plot and do. Shameless. And they come out in television to talk. These people have the God to come out in television and be talking. General this, quota general, that is simply a criminal. That is simply somebody who is there to conquer the land and conquer the people. And Nigerians tolerate that. What hurts me so much is that most of you Nigerians are only have strength when Igbo is mentioned. That is when you have strength to talk. Cowards. Bloody cowards. Let us go on Ahanya, because I would like my sister Ozomeme to talk about this. That was a little digression into Nigeria. But you would, if Nigeria has done things to you that is done to me and my people. So,
good morning.
Yes. Before you come in, I wanted to say this about Ahanya. He says it was Ahanya was always called to fight wherever the situation was bad. He was called to fight wherever the situation. That's the kind of man we are talking about here. Okay, our sister Ozomeme, please, you can now take over. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Biafrans. Good morning, lovers of freedom, lovers of justice. Thank you for being on this program to listen and to participate. It's been a while, but it's not, we've been a while in coming back to the air, but we are here and we're here to stay. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Anyway, my name is Ozio Meme. And I will say thank you, Mazio Odemoalo, for bringing this program to bear. And then thank you for our super engineer, Mazi and Emene, for making it all possible to work. Choose Ikedigo, thank you. Our Biafran, the man on the ground, keeping things in check. Yes, Cornelius Onyema. I hope I have his name right.
Yes, Obunneme Ahanya. Yes.
Obunneme Ahanya.
Yes.
He is one in a million people. He wore so many hats in Biafra during the Biafra War as the need arises. He is such an example for all of us that are now fighting this freedom war that they started and continued and, actually persevered. For them to persevere against the Russians and against Britain. What grieves me is that the people in the Biafrans that are now aspiring for power are just doing things that is opposite of the mindset of the people that fought in the Biafra war. Instead of working to help people, they are working to aggrandize themselves and help themselves, which is really bad, which means they are bought with money. And because they are bought with money, Biafra, it seems like Biafra is like a byword for them. But because of the example set for our leaders that are gone, especially the colonel that passed in July, it is, we know we have to continue the fight. They already showed us how to do it and what to do. For him to be, wear so many hats in the production of ammunition, in training of soldiers, in thinking, he was using his mind, his God-given intelligence and mind, and he was using it for his calling in life, which affected a lot of people positively. So what is our lesson from that is that we still need to continue the fight because we're not free until we're free. And then with all this that's going on, and you hear some Biafrans talking about the 2023 election, and I'm like, are these people really serious? There is no Nigeria anymore. You all have to get that in your skull head. There is no Nigeria. You don't have a country that go and kill innocent people, honest, innocent civilians, and call that a country. So I really applaud Colonel. I keep missing his name. Anyway, I really applaud him for all Colonel Ahanya, for all the positions he held in Biafra war and for all what he did after the war. I mean, he lived until 2020, so I know he must have instructed some people. I hope we have some records because this Biafra war, I know people say they don't want war, but we are already in a war. You have to understand that you're already in a war, except that at this point, one side has the weapon and they think they have the upper hand and they can shoot at anything that moves that's a human being, which is not right. So we have to continue to walk, continue to step forward, continue to work together, and have the mindset of the Biafrans that fought in the past. We have to have that mindset, and I'm glad the history of all this is still there, that we can bring them up and teach our young people that are coming up so they know that they are somebody. So I thank you all for listening, and I will stand by.
Thank you so much, sister, a wonderful sister, Oziomeme, a true Biafran in the very sense of it. We appreciate your help. We appreciate your being a pillar of the Radio Biafra International, Biafra Restoration Movement. What you're doing for the love of God and love of your people. Now, listeners, we will go to let us remember people like Ejike Obuneme Ahanya. And also, as time goes on, we'll talk about Colonel Nwobosi in the next, probably in the next broadcast. And also always remember people like Clement Chukwukadibia Onyemelukwe, who comes from Nanka, the man who lit up Nigeria. And also remember Colonel Lambert Ihanacha, another Biafran war hero. So we have our heroes departing. And like I said, all these records, and they are there for us to access. We will uphold those records and ensure that we leave that for our children, children's children. It is very, very important. Now, there's news that is out that the ICC and ICC prosecutors seeks to probe into Nigeria and Ukraine war crimes. But let's talk about Nigeria. Her name is Fatou Bensouda. She's from Gambia, legal practitioner from Gambia. And she actually studied in Nigeria, I think studied in University of Ife, studied law, went to law school in Lagos. Fatou Bensouda office has been reviewing the conflict between government forces and Boko Haram and its various splinter groups in western and northern Nigeria. This is a report by Reuters. And it says the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has said she will seek full investigations into possible war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in Nigeria, as well as during the Ukraine conflict. Fatou Bensouda said in a statement on Friday, her office had completed a preliminary examination and found a reasonable basis to believe that Boko Haram and its splinter groups had committed war crimes and crimes against humanity in Nigeria through murder, rape, sexual slavery, and torture. Judges must approve the request. Dozens of Boko Haram, ISWAP, Islamic State of West Africa, fighters killed in Nigeria and Niger, 12 soldiers killed in Boko Haram attack on military base. The question is, why has Nigeria failed to defeat Boko Haram? And you see all these reports happening. Bensouda's office has been reviewing the conflict between government forces and Boko Haram and its various splinter groups in western and northern Nigeria since 2010. She said the office recognized that the vast majority of the crimes were attributable to non-state actors, but that it had also found a reasonable basis to believe that members of the Nigerian security forces had also committed crimes. These included murder, rape, torture, and cruel treatment, as well as enforced disappearances and forcible transfer of the population and attacks directed at civilians. Boko Haram began its violent campaign in northeastern Nigeria in 2009 with the goal of imposing its version of strict Islamic law. So you talk about, when they talk about strict Islamic law is Islamic law. So there's a question of being strict Islamic law. And this Islamic law is believed on by Muslims. This is the problem we're having. And these people who believe in Islamic law, you want them to come and practice democracy. When Islamic law is undemocratic, does not even have tolerance for democracy. How does that work? The question goes to Muslims themselves, is they think they have the power of reason. How can you be a Democrat and a Muslim at the same time? Thousands have since been killed and many more displaced. Bensouda's office has been reviewing the conflict between government forces and Boko Haram and its various splinter groups since 2010. Its main group claimed responsibility earlier this month for the massacre of farm workers in the area outside Borno State's capital, Maiduguri, in which dozens of laborers were mowed down by gunmen on motorbikes. Agricultural workers were also tied up and had their throats slit in the attack, believed to be seeking revenge on villagers for seizing the bruised fighters and handing them over to the authorities. So, and this happened, the UN said 110. Nigeria is reporting 43 or 53 people killed. So, they always have to, deceive and cut down the numbers in order to present a very wrong perspective on what is happening. But we know that this has been happening for a very long time. And Amnesty International welcomed the announcement as an important milestone and urged the ICC, which was set up in 2002 to try the world's worst crimes, to swiftly begin an effective and well-resourced investigation. This is what Amnesty International is doing. So this lady, Fatou Bensouda, is going to start a trial of Nigerian of war crimes against the peoples that inhabits that geographical space called Nigeria. And this is most of the perpetration of these atrocities came from Boko Haram and of course Fulani headsmen. Now we will add Onwuike we have to add him, file a case against him in the International Criminal Court of Justice for the Obibo massacre. That is very, very important, And it says here, ICC prosecutor must now follow with immediate action to open a full investigation. This is what Amnesty International is saying. They are encouraging that this investigation starts immediately. Bensouda's office is running investigation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Sudan, Central African Republic, Kenya, Libya, Ivory Coast, Mali, Georgia, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. A decision on whether to investigate alleged atrocities in Palestinian territories is pending. So, Bensouda's term is due to end on June 15, and her successor has not yet been chosen. So, these are countries where you have a lot of human rights violation. And in Nigeria, the violation is so terrible. It is beyond belief. And to highlight that, let me read a statement made by Samson Ayokunle, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, speaking at the World Press Conference on Thursday, January 23rd, 2020 at the National Christian Center, Abuja in Nigeria. He said, and I quote, just to keep you into perspective of the state of affairs in Nigeria in relation to this. The evils from Islamic North, led by Fulani, which they according to some people, it doesn't cause war, even though we're already at war. Even ICC said Nigeria is already at war in 2003, this same ICC, International Criminal Court in Hague. But, they say, Fulani attacking people. Well, it doesn't cause war. But when people resist that, it causes war. Police, it's okay for police in uniform and military to shoot and kill innocent civilians. But you cannot kill the police or the army. This is the double standard of this evil place, and the evil political leaders in Nigeria, which they must pay for those evils. They must pay for it. God will not let them off the hook, no matter what they think. They think that political power and being in control of public funds, will keep you safe through your life. But your term ends at a certain point in time. And even before it, you don't know how your own end will come, or what will befall your family or your lineage for the evil that you have perpetrated against innocent people, shedding of innocent blood. And this is what the Fulani are fond of, and the Kanuri people, fond of shedding innocent people's blood. They don't want to live on their own, but they want to belong in Nigeria, where all the resources from the south, from Biafra land, is being used to feed them, and they squander the money, use it, buy weapons to kill the same Biafra. These people are nothing short of evil is a light word to use against Fulani people and Kanuri people in Nigeria for what they're doing. And you say, it's not everybody. What are the politicians doing? They're the ones that encourage all these things that is going on, And now the thing has exploded everywhere in their face. And, They are still talking about we. You know, I told you one thing about Nigerians. When they say we need to, that means they don't want to place the blame somewhere. They want to make us or we. No, it is you, the Fulani in the north, the oligarchs, you know, the elites, political, traditional, and military elites. You are the ones that cause these problems in Nigeria. For the past 60 years, you have been nothing but problem in that space. That is what you have been doing up till today. And they have the temerity to talk as if they have somebody they are threatening and so on and so forth. You know, and that's why I'm telling my people, it's time for you to change your mind against this, thinking that they are civilized people or they are reasonable people, because you know they are not. They act worse than animals. And then they talk about calling names. I'm calling you names. That is all I could do. I should have killed like 4 times what you have killed you. That's what I should do. And you're talking about I'm calling names. You haven't seen anything yet. And this is why we are saying that Nigeria just cannot work. Because with people with this type of mindset, what is the point? What is the point living with people with this type of mindset? Who must Islamize you? Who must kill you? You must Islamize or you die. What type of religion is that? And they talk about his faith. You know, it is their faith. Is this a religion? This is a cult, for goodness sake. It's a simple cult where apostasy, the penalty for apostasy is death. So, you know, something of faith is supposed to be something of will. If somebody wants to believe in something, doesn't that suggest to you that it's his will? He will have to will it. He has to make a choice. But in Islam, it is, you must or we kill you. If you quit, we kill you. What type of intimidation? So most of them are held there by intimidation, by force, by fear. By fear. And you say this is of God that created heaven and earth? You know? Who has conscience and will believe this type of thing? You're following a man that was a terrorist. You don't want him criticized because you don't want to expose the evil that is central in your belief system. When the whole world knows it, it's all over the internet. It's all over your history. A man that fought 65 wars. Islam that in 1,400 years cost 270 million lives, yet is a religion of peace. These people are possessed. They are demonized. Let me just tell all of you who are still thinking that you have reasonable human beings to talk with. Look at them in interviews, in channels or whatever, when they talk. Then they talk. They're even making excuses for Buhari. This is a man who is not there anymore. He's dead. They are imposing somebody who is from somewhere else. I don't know where this man comes from. And it's obvious looking at it. The Nigerians know that. They don't want to confront this. And it's only in Nigeria that this type of evil can be perpetrated. That place is so reprehensibly objectionable, and it is. Oh man, it is a crime against humanity. That's what Nigeria is, a crime against humanity. And they say them go on, and Nigerians don't want to criticize the Fulani elite for the evils they perpetrate and the Kanuri elite. The problem of Africa is these Arabs are not African. As they jumped into Africa in 641 AD, took over Egypt, took over Tunisia, took over Libya, it's only big problem. Mauritania all the way down to Nigeria, problem everywhere. That's why you need to be telling them to go back to Arabia. You need to, all black Africans, you got to work to run them out of there and take them back to Arabia where they belong. What type of animals are this? You don't want to stay on your own. You don't want to leave other people alone. You must conquer them and take their things still, and then have the guts to come out and boast about it and threaten the people. Imagine such a thing. Imagine such a thing. And some of our people do not see that they cannot see the temerity or even the seriousness of this issue. They're taking it lightly. They just don't understand it. That's why they look at you as fools. They don't think they say, even after we have done all this to you, you are still talking, in a civil manner. You still want to, they take you for a ride. They're pushing people down into your villages to kill you and take over your land. What else are you going to do about it? Except you wake up from your slumber and stop always, resist the devil and he will flee from you. Even the Bible says resist the devil. And that resistance is not only spiritual, it's also spiritual and physical. We're telling when the government cannot protect the citizens, what are the citizens supposed to do? Fold their hands and just die and get killed? by Fulani and Islamic Muslims from Kanuri people, Boko Haram and Fulani Islamic jihadists. You know, they should fold their hands. Anybody who's advising that type of thing is wicked to the core. There are the serious problems we have there. So let me read this. And this is a statement by Samson Ekun, the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria. He says here, from 1980 to 2019, the Stephanus Foundation record shows a total of 1,785 attacks in 32 states between 1980 and 2019. That is last year. There was 1,785 attacks in 32 states of the 36 states of Nigeria. This led to the death of not less than 28,878. 28,878. And they have the guts to come and be talking to you about, you know, this, that. We have to be in charge. You can't have president. The president is not for that. This, that. You know, this, anyway, I lose my distance sometimes. But, you know, I hope I comport myself properly. You know, it says here, in 121 Muslim riots in 19 states, 121 Muslim riots in 19 states, not Christian riot. You never hear about Christian riot, never. It's always the Muslims that are violent. They are because that's what that religion teaches them. That thing they call religion, that is a cult, instead of God, violent. They don't want to reason because they know that if you reason with them, you defeat them. That you are not true. That is why you are jumping up, and if you have to kill somebody because he believes in something, people should watch out for you because there's something wrong with what you believe in. That is the reason. Can't you convince him? You can't convince now, you know, so you want to use terror to enforce what you believe in. That there shows what you believe in is wrong. If it was good enough, you will have loved it and practiced it and simply do not. Is it not the loss of the people whom don't know that religion it is supposed to be their loss? No, the devil in this man told them that they have to come and start killing people, and they accepted it. You know, each day we are brushing words over rubbish. He was a bandit. Muhammad ibn Abdullah was a bandit and a terrorist. That's what he was. Fought 65 wars. How is somebody who fought 65 wars, how is he a peaceful man? Took Medina from Jews. He took Medina from Jews. You all know that. Peaceful man, Mr. Peace. You know, married 13 wives. Some of them were slaves of men he has slaughtered. Married a 6-year-old. Well, how is this man a role model to anybody with conscience? How is he a role model to anybody with conscience? Now you want Antichrist, devilish religion. Cult, sorry. Just stop calling religion. There are other religions. There is no religion where you have this type of terrorism all around the world. It's only in Islam. We know that. They say, oh, it's Islamophobia. No, you are suffering from Christophobia. All of you. All of you, including the people who are in the far left who claim that nobody does. It's Christophobia that you're suffering from. Stop placing labels on people rather than discussing the issue, rather than facing the point, rather than answering the questions. You don't do that. You want to place label. Oh, they hate you. This is the next plot of people who mete out evil and support things that are so negatively inhuman. Here it says 121 Muslim riots in the country. This led to the death of not less than 28,878 innocent people. Wow. He said in 121 Muslim riots in 19 states, the death of 9,451 lives occurred. Also, Boko Haram militant groups were responsible for 701 attacks that claimed 12,812 lives in 15 states. Can you imagine? Boko Haram, this Boko Haram we're talking about now, it's going to be investigated. Well, so 701 attacks. 701, not one, not two, not 100, not 200, not 701 attacks that claimed 12,812 lives in 15 states. And Nigerian government is sending the army down to the east in Operation Python Dance Operation, Crocodile Dance Operation, Snake Walk, kinds of things. Buratai must be, his name is in the ICC already. His case has been filed with Buhari, who is now posthumous. So it's unbelievable, the crime these people commit. Before the world is looking at a man who's not the president of a country, impostor, sitting there, and everybody's looking like this is, it's unbelievable. That's why he's hiding. That's why he doesn't want to come out in the public and speak, because they are trying to hide from, don't want people to see the faults, to, see that he's not actually Buhari. That's why this man is hiding. The real Buhari cannot behave like this. We know that. Even though he was an Islamist jihadist, we know, but this is not his character. We're not fools. So all of a sudden you have a man who is hiding everywhere. He cannot come out and address the country. Nothing. The National Assembly said they invited him, and then he's not there. A lot will be written about this country called Nigeria as time goes on. Wait until the truth starts, because all of them will be written. It will come to a point where it will be very clear, even to the fools, that this man is not Buhari. It will come, and it's coming. They know he's not. Everybody's pretending. Osimbanjo, National Assembly, everybody, because it is Fulani that does it now, isn't it? Every evil perpetrated by these people against the peoples of that country. Still, some people are giving them pathways. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then you wonder why your economy is bad. You wonder why because you are evil yourself for not speaking out against the Fulani, calling them by name. Calling them by name. Because what you are doing, hiding behind, is causing all these problems. That's empowering them. They are very wicked people. That is why they are not able to. They have no conscience. Even though they'll come out on TV and tell you, oh yeah, conscience. The lie, takiya is, of course, that's Islamic value system. Just lie to advance their belief. Yeah, a religion of God that tells you to keep lying. But can you imagine this type of thing? And then they don't think, they don't reason, they don't want you. Once you bring reason to the table, it's a problem. Oh, these are things that have committed. 12,815 in 15 states. It says again, 963 attacks from Fulani militant groups in 32 states were responsible for 6,615 deaths. 963 attacks. Can you believe that? 963 attacks from Fulani militant groups, 32 states, responsible for 6,615 deaths. And up till today, no one has been brought to book. Instead, it is those who cried out that were subjected to state harassment. A few suspects arrested were later freed to continue with their atrocities. It was the federal government that was justifying the killings of the citizens by accusing some governors of making laws against open grazing. They claimed that the killings were not genocide against Christians, but farmers and others class. You see that? It's not genocide after all these deaths. It says, in the light of the current development and the circumstantial facts surrounding the prevailing upsurge of attacks against the church, it will be difficult for us to believe that the federal government under the present administration is not colluding with the insurgents to exterminate Christians in Nigeria, bearing in mind the very questionable leadership of the security sector that has been skewed towards a religion. And religion, yeah, he is trying to be politically correct. And it is skewed towards against Christians and favoring the Muslim killers who are there. Such a nepotistic government. This is by Samson Ayokunle, President Christian Association of Nigeria, speaking at the World Press Conference on Thursday. I would like to invite Mazi Hamif Lukando, a veteran, to make a commentary regarding this and the challenges that we are going through regarding this. Before I get connected to Hamif Lukando, I want to also read in Vanguard News of Wednesday, December 9, 2020, some attacks while we expect Mazi Hamif Lukando to come in. He says here, attack against Northerners, Ohaneze berates NEF over provocative statement. Now, in regard to what I've been saying here, it says the umbrella body of Igbo Social Cultural Organization has lampooned leader of the Northern Elders Forum, NEF, Professor Ango Abdullahi, over allegations that attacks on Northerners outside the North were perpetrated by the Igbo. You see, they always want to give the Igbo the bad name. These are people you're living with in the same country. And you think you're going to have one country with a man like this and his cohorts and his followers and his blind followers? How do you have a country with such a man who will kill you and accuse you of killing him? This is how criminal-minded these people are. And Abdullahi, and he calls himself professor, quota professor, evil people, criminals. And Abdullahi is nothing but a criminal. That's why he's using this type of word. Professor Abdullahi made the allegation on Tuesday in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, when NEF leaders visited northern communities living in South-South to assess their affairs after the EndSARS protest. You see? Yeah, he didn't give us the facts. Here we give you the facts of what is going on. No, he wouldn't give the facts. He just says Igbo people are killing nothing. You see that? President General for Hanes and Igbo Chief John Nyang'ondo frowned at the incendiary, unsubstantiated, and provocative statement created by Professor Anga Abdullahi, alleging that most violent acts against the Northerners are perpetrated by the Igbo. Reacting to what he described as dangerous gaffe by a man who, by learning, experience, and exposure, should know better. What do you mean he should know better? What else does he know except Sharia and who to conquer in the name of Sharia and Islamic jihad? That's all they do. Their professorship is on the Islamic jihad. And that's all. So why is this a gaffe? This is not a gaffe. This is it's so seditious. It's libelous, actually. Yeah. He said, Chief Modo said that the unprovoked outburst by Professor Anga was capable of setting the country ablaze. The President General, in a release by his media advisor, Chief Emeka Atama, wondered where and when the Igbo could have killed their northern brothers when there has never been any case of mayhem and killings against the North in any Igbo-speaking state. He challenged Professor Abdullahi to make public facts to substantiate his wild and malicious claims, unless it was intended to set up the Igbo for another round of killings in the North, adding that with the statement, the Igbo in the North are not safe. President General reminded Professor Abdullahi that on the contrary, the Igbo have borne the brunt and have been victims of age-long and misguided attacks and bloody orgies by their northern brothers. And this is a fact. The Igbo had borne and borne the brunt, actually, and have been victims of age-long and misguided attacks and bloody orgies by their northern. What do you call them brothers? Why use this word, brothers? There is nothing relating us and these mass murderers, Islamic mass murderers from the North. Disgusting people to the core. Disgusting people. And when you start killing them, you know what they do? If you return back, if you defend yourself again, they will start complaining that you're killing. This is the same thing you see these people over the world do. A problem to world peace. There is no development in their region. Talk about it, that's why the whole place is all started. There's poverty. Poverty capital of the world is in the North. They will not blame themselves. They'll turn around and blame other people. Seize power. They seize political power. They don't use political power for development. People talk about development. Paying workers, do that. Economics and politics of development. This is what you're doing with people who are concerned about jihad. All they're concerned about jihad. How to kill the infidel and rob him and rape him and take his things and so on. This is the value system of Islam. This is religion these idiots want anybody to think about as something useful. You must be insane to be that Muslim. There a lot of them are there by force anyways. If you leave them, they will leave the nonsense. Yeah, but they are using threats to hold everybody down. Threats. That shows you that God that created heaven and earth has nothing to do with that religion. That cult, not religion. At the slightest upheavals in the country, sometimes, even as a result of an event outside the country, and no restitution has ever been made for such losses. Chimodo regretted that the Igbo, apart from innumerable dead ones, have lost property valued at trillions of naira during such senseless attacks in the North. Yet they are the catalyst of development and unifying cord that holds Nigeria together. That is where you have a problem, Chief Modo. This is why we're against you on certain issues. Yeah. Why? And the Igbo who live in the core North, I said, why can't you stop at Abuja? Stop at where you have some Christians, please. Stop going into those Muslim areas. Say you're going there to develop them and trade. When they're all concerned about killing you and robbing you and doing all kinds of evil against you, and then blaming you for the evil that they have done against you. It shows you the level of evil that resides with these people. Evil, E-V-I-L is the word, with Fulani and Kanuri people in Nigeria. Evil people. They do not think anything positive. It's always negative tricks, this intimidation, spilling of blood, and all the rest of them. People are talking about Igbo presidents. I say, oh yeah. If you tell them, they say, yeah, there's Igbo doesn't have the right to do. They know that there's been some almost like 50 something years, 57 years or so. You know, last time the Igbo was there in power since 1966. They know that, you know, and then they don't know how to get around it. What they are plotting, some of them may be plotting. For some of them are plotting how to undermine the Igbo presidency thing. Yeah, which we as Biafrans are not signing up for, because the problem of Nigeria cannot be solved by simply having Igbo. They want to put a stooge there they can control, you know. After controlling him over 8 years, they will still maintain their hegemony. That's all. And they will advance that hegemony. They advance jihad. So they want Dojos or Carlos and, you know, these people who are slaves serving them, you know, who have no self-dignity, you know, for themselves. You know, they can respect themselves. You go and lick the butt of Fulani people in the north. Criminals who kill and seize people's land. Massacre. Look at what they're doing in Southern Kaduna. Look at what they're doing all over the north in Borno State. Killing Christians, destroying their churches, doing all kinds of things. You know, they don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem with that. No, he comes home, Mwike. I'm coming to that man because Mwike is such a disgrace. Such a disgrace. Shameless man. Honestly. Mwike is sick to the bone. I'm glad that he was properly responded to by Uche Okuku, who is also a former secretary of Ohanese, top official of Ohanese, and who hails from Ikwere, where he comes from. You know, educated him. Say you are not Igbo. All Igbo people here are welcome to stay. You know, okay, Nwike, please leave Igbo name. Stop confusing people when you answer Igbo name. They asked you to define Nwike, and you couldn't define the first part of it, syllable one. And you said, well, what if even if you're Igbo? Shameless people. Shameless people. The worst kind of people, you got people who deny their identity. If you have to deny your identity, I'm telling you, there's something seriously wrong with you. Do others deny their own identity? No, but you have to deny your own in order to please the enemies of your own people. Because you want a political post. They know you people worship political positions. They know you are idolatrous people with money and political position. So they will use it and play you until they finish defeating you. And you know, just like Afonja, after they take over your people, then you will be next. They will kill you off because you're useless. If you could be able to give your people away, what else? How do you expect somebody who looks at you and sees that you give your own people away, you expect him to respect you? You must be, you are not thinking properly. And this is the thing with some of our political leaders. You know, look at Umahi running from pillar to post, confused. Says now he's vindictive, looking for people who didn't join him to get over to APC. You know, enjoy your APC, John. You know, it's unbelievable. So these are what Nigerian politicians do, and our own people who have no core values to defend, you know, are just there for political position. And I told my people, stop respecting people because they have position or money. They don't feed you, for goodness sake. So if he's not doing properly, disrespect him, he's disdain, spit on him if you see him pass, or spit on the floor if you don't want the policemen to shoot you, because that's what they will do. Yeah, spit on the floor. To fear. That's what he is as governor. To fear. That's what he is as senator. To fear. That's what he is as National Assembly member or commissioner or whatever, or minister. Cannot stand up and defend his people. And stop going to their rallies. Then they come you somewhere. Don't go there. Stop taking bags of rice and all the rest of them, that after eating, you go back to your suffering, to your squalor, and keep complaining. He's a criminal that will come and dash you money to vote for him. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This, how can you think somebody is dashing money who has your interest at heart? That's impossible. It's just simply impossible. So as soon as you take that money, you have wasted the next 4 years for your children. And you're wasting the future generation. Because he will go there to recoup, he will make 1,000 times that amount he gave him. That's why. And you, after eating that money probably finish in 1 week or in a month at worst. Then you could return back to what you're doing for the next 4 years, where he will come out to fool you again over something else. Nigerians cannot look for people who are talking about serious things. They are just looking for name. He is this, he is that, his position, Why is that his position? Why is it the reason why you should vote for? Let's look at his record. Look at the person's record. Because when you work with somebody's history, you can be able to determine what kind of person he is. Look at his record. You can't fail if you look at his record in the past. When he's not in that position, what type of person was he? And why must it be him? There are other people. Vote for them. If you voted for them, people, the next time they will know that it is not that their name and money that is the thing. It is about their records. Record, not name and money and position. The record he has. But Nigeria is going down because of all these evils anyways, and it will collapse at the end of the day. So I'm just talking about the errors of the value system, political value system that this society has adopted. Nwodo told the Northern Elders Forum to exhibit greater caution and wisdom in addressing sensitive national issues like this, rather than stoke further the fire of ethnic violence by making such ungathered, unsubstantiated, garrulous, and vitriolic claims capable of igniting fire and breakdown of law and order that could consume the country. Yes, that was a statement well made. We give that credit to Nwodo. But then Nwodo has not served our people very well. But the problem is because the Ohaneze presidency, it is the politicians that determine who becomes the Ohaneze president general. That is the problem. It's not the people. And there is no a structure in which the grassroots is involved in what Ohaneze is doing. It's just a group of politicians everywhere. They finance him and then to use Ohaneze for their own political interests. So that's why Ohaneze is not defending the interests of the people. World Igbo Congress too is not doing the same thing. So you would have thought that since Ohaneze has been hooked up and chained and caged in Nigeria by the intensity of corruption that is there, that World Igbo Congress that is outside would have taken a different stance. But World Igbo Congress is not doing so. And people are talking about leadership in Igbo. I said, no, please do the right things and people will follow you. The Igbo will support you. It's the question of when you are not doing the right thing. That is the problem. Defend the cause of your people. Defend them. Don't be there to play politics. Don't be there to use the position to go and take a government position. That type of nonsense should end, And that is why we tell our people, stop respecting people's political position. Simply respect the man because of what he did, not because he has a title or political position. It doesn't mean anything. A lot of evil people who are political positions, right from history, including kings and queens, and they are very wicked people, They killed, they did all sorts of things, Emperor Nero was Caesar. He ruled Rome. He was an emperor. Yeah, but he wrecked everywhere. So Hitler had a political position. He controlled both everything in Germany, the wealth of Germany. He was a fascist. We saw what he did. Forget about political position and to give respect to people simply because they have a title or political position. Hitler was Führer. He was the head of Germany. He had the title, he had the political position. Nero was head of the empire, an emperor. And he had this title and he had the political position. And so you have so many African leaders who have been tyrants. Mobutu Sese Seko, had the political position, but he was there serving the West and all the leftist people there suffering. At the end of the day, there's war, ethnic wars here and there in Africa. Rather than grant people autonomy, that means the right for them to rule themselves. Simply create a federal system where everybody brings a little bit of the center, then let them manage their life. African governments can't do that because also the West is influencing them not to do that and threatening them. If you try it, I will sponsor people from behind and there will be a coup against you because they needed instability in Africa to gain access to resources of Africa and continue to exploit the continent. Now China has joined in exploiting the continent. This is the problem we are in a very serious bit. So with this NEF thing, it shows you how bad things are. How the North, after destroying more than 1,300 churches, Ango Abdullahi has the temerity to come to Rivers State because Wike has given him the green light by killing people in Obi-Igbo. Once you kill Igbo people, you become the friend of the Northerners. Once you kill your own people, you become the friend of Northerners. And talking about killings, there was a riot recently. This was a report in December the 10th. That was like 2 days ago. It was a riot as police killed the keke driver, over 100 naira bribe in Rivers State. It was a riot in Rukwoku area of Port Harcourt. You see? By the policeman is yet to be identified, who gunned down a tricycle keke driver. The incident, which happened, I said, around 7 a.m. on Airport Road, has caused a huge riot in the area. Some angry youths and colleagues of the murdered driver have taken over the major road in protest. The movement has caused gridlock at the airport road following blockages and bonfires on the road by the aggrieved youth. A source privy to the development alleged that the police killed the victim for refusing to offer him 100 naira bribe. You know, Wike, where are you? This is happened in Port Harcourt. Why don't you send the army to go and kill the police? Now, you won't do that. It is when the people fight back and destroy police station, you come there to this. You know, why should somebody have the right to be killing innocent people because it's on uniform? Why is the life of the soldier and the policeman, people in armed forces and police and security agencies, why is their life more important than that of the civilian in the street? Why? Other than that, this is an evil country where politicians are rogues and criminals and killers. That's what you now are. The blood of the people in Obi-Igbo are in your hands. You have to pay for it. And you may pay for it generationally. I'm telling you. We are spiritual people and we know that the evil man, the wicked man doesn't escape. He doesn't escape God's wrath. Your wrath, the wrath of God will come on you when the time comes. And you will see it yourself. So all this rubbish, because the way you are so, your strong coconut head, you're not going to, repent and say what you did is evil, that you repent. That's so far-fetched. Typical Nigerian politician doing that, that's impossible. So you will pay for it, for the evil that you've done. You people think we have any respect for you. All those sycophants that gather around you there, you know they're wasting their time. They are looking for crumbs. You are an evil man. How can you send the police to be able to kill women, children, drag young people out of their houses? Those women and children, they are the ones that went and bombed the police station. Fulani that has been killing Igbo when Igbo did nothing. Now you gave them the license and command to go and kill. They went there and began to massacre our own people. Your case is going to ICC. All of you. And the future, you will see what will happen. You will be in handcuffs and you see yourself dragged to court for that. You'll be prosecuted. And you face the full wrath of the law. Because you're governor, people will not survive for you. Because you're governor of a state and you control money, public money that is not yours. We get the money of Rivers State. Did you make that money? All of you Southeastern governors that refuse to stand for what is right. This is not your money. You are stealing. You are disgraceful. You are disgusting. That's what you are. Steal public funds with your friends and then go abroad where your fellow man has built very well, constructed roads properly, put light, and then you go there to buy a house. Shameless people. These You'll be written down. These things will be recorded. I'm telling you, they are recorded, including the broadcast I'm making now. We recorded that you people were disgusting. You never served the public, you served yourself. That's all you did. How can Nyesom Wike have the temerity to go and kill Igbo people, massacre Igbo people? And he has Zango Abdullahi coming to congratulate him for what he did. Now he said he's not Igbo. Shameless man. You are not Igbo, eh? But you like to answer Igbo name. Leave our Igbo name alone. We've told you that. Go and take a Fulani name and answer. Shameless people. Keep denying your identity. That is how you come out of your problem. You've done that since after the war. It's 70, 50 years now. What has that, how has that benefited all these people who are denying that they're Igbo? How has it benefited them? When we tell you to do the right thing, you think the wrong thing will give you, that's the problem, deception of man. He does the wrong thing because he wants to gain something. At the end of the day, he sees that he lost everything. And then the question is, why do it in the first place? It doesn't make sense. Truth and evil have their rewards. Don't go and do evil and expect the truth to reward you. You are a dreamer. It does not work. Never. So Wike, this is one, somebody killed now for $100 bribe, and we haven't seen Wike, complain or even talk about prosecuting the policeman. No, when the people react and they went and burned, of course, they burned down the police station there from reports that we had. You continue to, you come out with, oh yeah, you had to protect your people. Why are you not sending people? Is it because the guy who was killed was probably is not Igbo, I guess? Because if he's Igbo, you'll attack. Because what? You believe Igbo is weak now? That's why you send people to Igbo to kill. Don't worry. If you're not careful, time might come, we see us, we'll be well armed. And we will see what all these stupid policemen and military and Fulani will know what you do. Because the people you're shooting, if all Igbo people were armed, you're not going to go there and start shooting now. You'll be like that. No. People who are unarmed, because you're armed, you shoot them and kill them. What does that tell you about those animals that you call police and this, including you, Wike? You're an animal. You're worse than an animal to have committed that. How dare you kill innocent people? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? And they are my people, Igbo people. You are sick to the bone. And that sickness will be cured. You all will be cured of that sickness. All these political leaders, including Ohaneze, who has shown complete disgrace to their own people in this tenure, as they have always, right from the beginning. It's always about politics. Who is there? Who is that? What? Why can't Ohaneze have a network of all the Igbo unions all across the world? And they will be the ones to decide and debate on topics and divide and put on it. So that these governors can get their stupid and bloody hands off that organization and these politicians. As long as they have their hands there, it cannot represent Igbo interest. As long as World Igbo Congress is seeking who will go and be minister and who will go and be this and be that. We've told you people, stop these people there. Look, what is a minister? So what? What did he do when he was minister? What is his life? Respect the man by what he does, not his position and title. It is this idolatry in Igbo land that has put us where we are. So Wike denies his Igbo roots as well. And I would like to talk on that before I want Chuks Ikedigo to comment on, I think there is a report of our joining the Football Association. And when I'm able to be connected to Chuks Ikedigo, I'd like him to...
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Yes.
That's what I'm here, yeah.
Yes, okay. The admission of Biafra into WFA. Could you brief people on that?
Okay. Yeah, let me first of all talk on the ICC investigation. Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
About it. Yeah.
Oh, no,
the ICC investigation has been what we've looked forward for. As far as I'm concerned, it's a breaking news, and we must all look forward to it because this is what we ever aspire. This is what we've looked forward to because this killing of our people has taken a very dimension that Nigeria have taken it that they can kill us and nothing will happen. We mustn't forget the fact that the ICC prosecutor has been sleeping on her duty. Her duty is a 9-year tenure, one single term, but it's 9 years that she has to stay there. But all this time she has been sleeping on. She never did anything. We submitted this now. She never looked at it. And now she's about going now. She out of a sudden waking up to the reality and start looking. And start to appreciate what we've been saying that Nigeria be killing the innocent people for no good reason. So as far as we are concerned, we like that. So let us go with the investigation. But we must all look beyond her. We must look at the possibility of actually engaging her predecessor. Okay, yeah, her predecessor to take over this investigation because as far as I'm concerned, she will mess it up because she's never really taking it serious. She has always made excuses for for these killings. She's from Ghana. That makes her one of these Muslim this thing. So she has always been very, very sympathetic to the Islamic jihadists, just like you see them. She's always been sympathetic to Muhammad Buhari and the Nigerian army. But for her waking up, it shows something that if she messes up the case that her predecessor will definitely do a wonderful business. So it's a win-win situation for us, Biafrans. They've killed us massively, and they think I've always said that they will never ever go without paying for their sins. The Nigerian army must now be prepared to pay for their sins, because this investigation, even if she fails to achieve the objective of setting it up, in Nigeria is what we look for. We must get. We must make sure that the blood of our people, they keep opportunity to do it. And we must also forget the fact that it's not only good that they've killed, they've also killed the child. And then the one that really exposed them was the NSAS killing that they killed. And as people like CNN came up, even in how they attempt to deny it never was, because people like CNN and BBC came out to really expose the murderous nation that they've become. That's what they always been into Biafras and gain away because of that. Getting away with it because of the way most of our people acted, okay? Our people have these tendencies of not following issues. But this time around, they did it to follow issues, and we follow the issues and we've gotten them. So it's a done deal now. We must expect these people that wanted our people to go. And also use this opportunity to thank these killings, because until records are kept, nothing will actually happen. Okay, somebody can easily deny the killing that was not recorded, but once they are recorded, it becomes an avenue for people to rely upon those records for trials, no matter the years it will last. So we've done a great job, and I believe that this is time for justice to be done in the killings of our people. So the implication of this investigation is that we are very, very close. And it will also help this Nigerian army to stop these murderous killings that they keep killing our people. Secondly, we must not forget also to push for we can also be investigated. Yeah, for this people killing, we must push for it to also be investigated, because that killing was premeditated. They thought about it. They went for the kill. The kill was just for him to please his masters. Once he pleases his master, they will give him the position he was looking for. So we must make sure that he also goes in with it. He might think he's one of us. Thank God that he has made himself less than one of us. So he's no longer one of us. We have no reason to protect killers. So we must make sure that we'll get him this time around. So I will stop here as far as ICC is concerned. Then talking about WUFA stands for the World Unity Football Alliance, okay? The essence of WUFA is FIFA is the body that controls football for entities, countries, territories that have their independence. So WUFA is just the one that handle for people who are not yet independent, especially those who are not yet represented in the United Nations and FIFA. So this is the association that they come together to form, so that people in such categories can get to gather together, put themselves together, fight for their freedom, and use it to achieve greater good. The essence is that make sure that people who are not represented in those UN and FIFA also have a platform where they're able to bring their synergies together and then reach out to the very unique opportunity for us to actually tell the world what will be passing through in Nigeria. So it's a wonderful experience that organization such as BRM has been able to achieve what most of our other organizations have been there for years couldn't achieve. So I've always told our people that we know BRM knows where it's headed to, we know where we are going to, we know what we want to achieve. The first of all is to internationalize our struggle, make sure that we have a platform where we can speak to people, that way we can speak and the powers that people will listen. This is what we've started, this is what we want to be. And the good thing about WUFA is that our membership in WUFA is in such a way that every other person now have opportunity to represent Biafra. Okay, we all need to represent Biafra, but we're not going for the professionals. We will all be playing this football on our own so that we can achieve the basic goal. So, in other words, for the tournaments that WUFA will be organizing next year, okay, the Biafrans in the countries or in the states where they'll be organized will have to choose within themselves. They'll have to select a team that will represent us. Okay, so whether you're a professional or not, just come together, get a team, represent us. The spirit is a participation most times. We would like to win, but for now, winning is not really the intent. The intent is just to have a platform to tell the world about our agonies, our sufferings as Biafrans, and we must take this great opportunity. Their first game will be in US. As well, it's very important that Biafrans in US we get together right now to start training and that will represent us. Lastly, WUFA has given us a very great opportunity to internationalize our thing. They're not all about football, okay? They're also about humanity. They're also about equity, justice, love for one another, mutual respect for everybody. So it's not only about football that we'll be playing in WUFA. We will actually have the platform to reach out to those that will help us. Through those reach out, through those diplomatic outreaches, we will definitely be able to contact those that will help us arrive at the referendum or at worst the negotiated settlement to get away from Nigeria so that Biafra will come. These are what we need to do. We know what we're headed to. And believe you me, in the nearest future, we would have actualized and gotten what we are looking for, because most of the time when you want to reach out to these people that are willing to help, they will ask you, what organization do you belong to? Who are we speaking on your behalf? So we can always use this as a platform to these people are speaking to us. We belong to these people. We are rubbing shoulder with these people. They have linked us to so people. So this is exactly what our friend is right now. So I encourage all of us to study more about what is. In short, this thing about is that WUFA is the World Unity Football Alliance. It was just formed this year, okay? So this and that's something I like about it. It was formed around July this year. So we are not the people that will wait till when the organization grows before we join them. No, we're just taking our opportunity to join even in the same year that WUFA was formed. That shows you that BRM knows where to get what we want. We've planned everything in such a way that once it's happening, we are with them from the outset. So that at the end of the day, even if we are not a permanent member, but we are a member from the first year, so it gives us an edge over those that will be joining later in the future. So this is a victory for all Biafra. The membership of BRM taking Biafra to WUFA is a victory for everybody. Thank you.
I don't will again.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Yes, this is not the kind of debate. All we want is Biafra people.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. Oh Lord, my God. Oh Lord, my God.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Thank you so much, fellow Biafrans and listeners all over the world. Thank you, Chuksikedi, for that analysis. And we appreciate it very much. And we hope that we will continue to advance what we're doing. We, the Biafran Restoration Movement, we thank our diplomatic department for what they're doing in different ways. They're like, I don't know if you heard me say that before, but I'm repeating it again. We have so many things we're doing as an organization, and we don't necessarily have to say them on air. But one other thing I want to mention is that we appreciate the efforts of every other group that is fighting for Biafra. They are our people, and we are behind them as our people. People always complain and say, well, no, we need one person, one thing. Well, no, Israel, when they fought for Israel, for example, there are different groups, right? Because there are so many things to do in a struggle. It's not just one. I think we have to begin to understand that and allow for people to do whatever they can. Look at this social media, the people who are speaking on so many issues of social media. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Let people speak up. Don't say, oh, well, don't speak. We need one person to speak. And that is it. Everybody, no. Because there are people he's convincing. There are things he's saying that one person does not know everything. So when others are contributing as well, that's helpful. That's why we say, activate your Biafran spirit wherever you are. In your town unions in particular, activate it. In those certain meetings, activate it. Begin to speak for the freedom of your people. Begin to stand up. There are associations also that are so vain, honestly, I must say that. And associations that are just about personalities and, you wear uniform, you come and dance and eat rice and stew, and maybe give donation to somebody here and there. But all that, these gatherings, like people who have money in their bank accounts, they don't know what to do with it. So they decided to celebrate their vanity. That type of thing shouldn't be the way Igbos do things. You set up an organization, you do something that makes sense. There are challenges in the society which you need to take up on. Not simply to be there to dance and then get somebody else who and maybe give chieftaincy and so on. All those type of social things are, shows people with money in the bank, but they don't know what to do with it. God has given you that money and places so you can put it in something very useful. Something very useful, like fighting for your freedom. There are so many things you can do with it. Okay, help the sick, help those who give scholarship. Do things that are like that. Help the poor in society. In Igbo society, we're not supposed to have the poor amidst us because we have the word obenye, which means obe. Let the obe give, let the village give. You give, you make sure that there's no poor amidst you. And if you look at the Bible, it's written there. Our fathers used to practice this many centuries back. So you have to do that now. Bring it back. There are people who are so poor. There are people who need medical bills to be paid because they are poor. They will die if you don't help them. This is what we need organizations to be doing. Not simply to gather somewhere and then wear uniforms, fantastic uniforms, resplendent uniforms, and then dance and eat rice and stew, and that is over. And then they brag about how they are this and that, or Chilozwa and all the, you just give yourself titles and boastful names. Those emptiness ought to stop in Igbo land. You know, we are not like that. Nobody who knows God is impressed with that thing. Doesn't mean anything before God. But if you come an organization and you're discussing serious things, you're giving scholarship to the young people who don't have, money to go to school. You are, even if that is only what you do, that is fantastic. Just so fantastic. You're helping the sick, people who are sick. You can say, okay, let's build a clinic. Let's equip this clinic. That's what associations are supposed to be doing. Or you say, okay, somebody is so poor. There are very people who are so poor in the village. Doesn't mean it's his fault because he's poor. And poverty is not a crime. It's not a crime. This world depends on where you are and your circumstance, where you didn't decide where you were born, isn't it? Yeah. So many things that happen in our lives which we don't decide. It just happens. As you are, all of a sudden something can happen to you. You free yourself from the position you are, everything changes. That's how this world is. And that's why we have the fear of God in us, because we know that it's God that will protect us and guide us, not us ourselves protecting ourselves. And how you express that too, and express the love of God and worship, is by your actions, which is to help the poor, help the needy, help those who cannot help themselves. There are people in your village who are being oppressed because they are widow or because they are orphan. You raise those issues in your meetings and say, look, this has to stop. You organize and fight that in your village. You know what to do. This is what associations in Biafra land ought to be doing, in Igbo land ought to be doing. Not just to gather somewhere and wear fantastic clothes and dance, and that is it. If that is what you're doing, we need to move up, because we are more than just dancing with resplendent clothing. No, we are more than that. You are the children of God. You are the light of the world. You are supposed to show it. And do that by obeying the instructions given, even in the scriptures, by our Lord Yeshua HaMashiach. That's when you do that as Igbo people, as Hebrews, you please your God. I would like to have Ahamef Nukando to make his comments on these issues that we have raised, or any other that might have come to stay. Ahamef Nukando is our veteran, and we celebrate him. We love him, and we love his efforts towards the attainment of our freedom as a people. Our duty is to fight for this freedom. There is nothing else. When you're oppressed, when you're edged in, what else do you have to do other than to fight and resist? We're resisting evil. You're doing God's work when you resist evil. So let us have Ahmed Funukan for his comments.
Yes, good morning, my brethren.
God bless you.
Sorry, I have been engaged a lot, and I said I was going to try and join the broadcast today. I really want to thank you, especially Mazuma Alo and Mazia Nemena and all members of the panel, for your persistence in doing what you have to do. I'm also very proud of our broadcast, because in all the things going on today, our broadcast has chosen a particular area to really help our people to understand. Because without information, they say normally information is power. Most of the things going on today in Biafra land, which is still under Nigeria, you find out that it is lack of information, adequate information, that makes our people to be a kind of lackadaisical, or just being technically docile. It is really, really unfortunate. But personally, with my age, with my experience and so on, I don't blame anybody. Because I remember when the war even started, what did we know? We didn't even know anything. And I'm a particular victim of what constituted the Nigerian war. My father was killed, so it is always emotional for me. Then, as a young man, we have no other choice but to join the military. We started from civilian to the militia down to the Marines. I was in the gunboat after sustaining a little bit of wound. I say a little bit of wound, just God saved me. I was in the gunboat when the war ended. We were all devastated. I was on the gunboat 203, the one that finally after they cornered us off, it came to Uguta, but we got it back from Uguta. No, I'm just giving a little bit of background of what my experiences are and why I don't really want to blame the youths of today because they didn't have the kind of experience I had. And knowing fully well what I know today with the kind of research we have been doing in the Biafra restoration movement, and also what we are learning from our Radio Biafra International. Believe you me, we chose a very good strategic area in the fight for our freedom. We are all aware today that there are so many factions fighting for Biafra. But what has happened? You all have known what is going on today in IPOB. I just have to bring it in because we cannot continue at this rate. Today, one group will open up, another one will close, and so on and so on and so on. It's about time we should start coming together, swallowing our individual prides, humbling ourselves, understand our problem, and know how to deal with it. In all these things, if any one of us today has not understood that this Biafran war we are fighting, because the first one we fought, the Biafran Nigerian War of 67 to 70, I call it the Third World War. People say it's the Biafran Nigerian War. It is Third World War. And why do I say Third World War? It's a war whereby every international government joined Nigeria to defeat us. If it were to be between Nigeria and Biafra, there is no way the war could have ended in our favor. But the world decided, out of wickedness, cut us from land, sea, and air. No food, no weapons, nothing, nada. And the war ended that way. But God will judge each and every one of them. But the world, does it have any conscience? No. So it behooves us to find out ways and means to extricate ourselves from the clutches of the greed of the world and the Fulanis in particular. How do we do that? We can only do that to understand ourselves, understand the mistakes that were made in the past, even from the time before Azikiwe and Awolowo and Sedona, all of them. We have to put them in perspective. That was a mistake. Those of them, was Rike and Mazin Namdekano, Masobo, and all of them, they didn't do a thorough work before they plunged into this determination to get us out of the slavery. They didn't do a good job. And that's what we are doing today, part of what we are doing today in Radio Biafra International, because we are doing research and seeing areas of mistakes and so on for us to fix it so that at the appropriate time, we'll get our freedom, maybe without even bloodshed. But if it's going to be bloodshed, it's going to be a very well calculated one. And that's why what we are doing, we have given each and every one of us the mandate to do what you have to do as your conscience leads and directs you. I am a contributor to so many forums whereby we are gradually, because I'm a blogger, I'm an analyst in different distance. I write a lot, I read a lot to be able to garner information on how we are gradually going to work out things. And on each of the occasions, I can see myself putting BRM for people to know what we are doing. Ours, we don't talk until we have gotten a job done. So this is why I am very proud of being a member of BRM. I am pleading to each and every one of us to really, really think hard. There are questions we should ask ourselves. Do we think that Biafra could be gotten just by Biafrans alone? It's a question for everybody. But having put everything in different perspectives and knowing how other people feel about us, and knowing also that everybody in Nigeria is a slave, except the Fulanis who were visitors, have come into Nigeria to take over the land of the nationalities. So for that singular action, they are so focused on it. They are doing everything to make sure they come to grab the indigenous lands for themselves and other Fulanis. We all know about the Fulani nationality movements. We all know what the Boko Harams are, all the things they are doing. Everything is geared at taking over our place. Based on it, does it not make sense that we should all listen to one another on how we can get this job done? Because if you really want to Biafra or our freedom, you must make sure you listen to one another. Are we doing that now? When you go to listen to other groups, earlier, when this was formed, the groups coming together to fight. Is it what's the, I've forgotten the name, I'll remember, please. Right now, we have the Biafran Network Forum. That's a group that is bringing different people from different agitating groups to help. Let us have a particular vision on how to handle our situation. But each time, it was IPOB that will renege. That what is happening right now, they are having some confusion because they are not honest, and it is a result of the confusion in there that culminated to our having BRM today. So essentially, what I'm talking about is this: this is not time to say I am this, and we a singular achievement, focusing on that constitution. For us in BRM, that's why I bring in BRM. I say ours has been consistently providing information that is going to help people, energize people, gear them up to say, yes, we agree with the LONC what they are doing. Let us all fight on the constitution. But you cannot do it until you have sufficient information, a very well grounded information. And that's what BRM with Radio Biafra International we are providing to be able to help deal with the situation we are all experiencing. If IPOB leadership has how they say, humbled themselves to work with people, we could have also worked with them. But because of what they are doing, look at what happened to them today. So I am trying to see what we are going to do with the people at home and the LONC and the BRM right now, what we can do. And also the latest one that is being formed, I said it's a Biafran network. It is made up of a Biafran government in exile. These are one of the things we are going to talk down the line, because for us to see how we are going to be involved, they had invited me into their meeting and I listened. And I find out their vision is also okay. So these are the things, honestly, I am looking and reading and dealing and blogging and analyzing and having conversations and so on, exchanges and so on and so on. That is what we are doing as analysts for Radio Biafra International and BRM. That's what we are doing. On this call, I want to thank my brother, Mazi Ikedigwe, for the work he is doing. Very visionary. And the ones written by then I talk about the analysts, all your contributions. Mazi Anemena, what he is doing. Every one of us are doing things. And so many are doing things behind the scene. And we say, keep it to yourself and continue working. The problem we are having is that of unity. I said that I will keep on saying this, no matter how distracting it could be. For example, in Port Harcourt, what Wike did during this protest, NSAS protest, it is a shame for a man that I felt will be a uniting point for people of the Southeast and South, the former Eastern region. But he turned around because he is trying to play second fiddle to the Sadwana Sultan of Sokoto. The kinds of things we've seen, the kinds of things we read, and so on, his denials and so on, and the stupidity, I'm sorry to use the word, of our governors when they visited him and so on. I was downcast. I was ashamed. I say, where whither we go from here? And that's why, as at now, we need leadership. Maybe those of us in BRM, as we are projecting it gradually into different forums and other areas out inside Biafra land, maybe we will gradually start seeing some changes, what is going to happen. But something has to happen. We are not going to leave these things going the way they are going. Yes, in the midst of chaos, we must take a position which we have already taken and which is what we are doing. I just want to let us continue to have an open mind, because a lot of changes, a lot of things are happening right now. We are not really working together. The governors, the House of Representatives who are at home are just a disaster. But we have to pamper them because they do not understand what the Constitution is doing to us. I think recently, the members of the House of Assembly, they are saying they are not able to do anything with the Constitution because it's not everything in there. And if it's not written in there in the constitution, that means something has to be done. Are we going to continue operating on the basis of the fraudulent constitution? Those are the questions we must ask. This is why we have to support what is happening with the South, the whole of the South and the Middle Belt working together in accordance with the vision that has been set by LONC. Let's leave personal opinions, personal animosities that had been there. It was things of circumstance. We have to deal with it. We have to look at it critically. We're still weighing everything, but something has to give. For us to remove ourselves from this fraudulent country under the Fulanese, we must swallow some level of pride to be able to do that. So I'm using this opportunity because it will sound strange to some of you. Maybe, why is he mentioning LONC? No, I'm a very open person. That is me. That from my childhood, I listen carefully. I really try to understand the situation. I'm not the type that just goes around and follow. No, I don't do that. But I listen to you. Whatever you are saying, I try to digest it. If it makes sense, I will say yes. It makes sense. I remember the first time I talked with Tony Nadi. That was some years ago. At that time, I wasn't so knowledgeable as we ended up a kind of because I told him my problem is that the LONC does not even mention Biafra because I'm a ardent Biafran. But his points were very well coordinated. I understood it. So we ended up and saying, what is in from him, I remember him saying, what is in a name? Because I was telling him that if you had included anything Biafra into the LONC, that people will be excited. That because we are not doing that, it is like there's something you are hiding. I have not spoken to him after that time. But most of the articles, because we are virtually almost in the same, this thing I'm talking about is Lonim. Lonim is just like a Biafra network forum now. That's Lonim. It was formed when we were still with IPOB DOS. When we sent Dr. Irania, and I think even Mazi Ochinawata was in that meeting they had in Chicago. For us to come together. It is the same kind of vision that was being propounded at that time. That's what I'm talking about now. Time has gone, and we have seen that we need one another to be able to make something out of this. Because look at how long it's taken us, from 2015 to now, good 5 years, no progress. Look at IPOB. GMF is out from there. Obienu is out. So many things have happened. So the question I'm going to put to us in BRM and Radio Biafra International, what do we think we can help to do right now under the situation we are in? I will leave it for us to think very strongly and start consulting one another so that we'll start taking bold stand outside, because we are known already. Radio Biafra International, Biafra Restoration Movement is known right now. And in our humble self, we do not impose on anything. We just do our own assignment, providing information, educating our people. That's what we are doing, and we are doing exceptionally very good. I will have to stop at this point, and I thank you all for listening. And that's why I'm so proud of BRM, Radio Biafra International. We listen to one another and we give everybody a chance to be able to express his or herself. That's what I have done. That's my own quota. Thank you very much, my brethren. May God guide us, give us wisdom to be able to save our future now and generations to come. Thank you very much. Ahamukando.
Thank you very much, Ameflu Kando, an able veteran, the man that paid the price for the freedom of his people, and he's still working hard to ensure that that is a thing. Listeners, Biafrans, you have heard his advice always. He has always stuck to this. So please deliberate on these issues. Deliberate on these issues. What makes something work is because people are doing something about it. Not if you just say, oh, well, we have a problem. Okay, then we relax back. Then the enemy keeps advancing. Nothing is happening. It's because you're relaxed. That's why. It's because you're not discussing, because it's not bothering you, because you're giving up. Okay, whatever will happen, let it happen. That type of attitude is what causes slaughter. It causes more people to die. Yeah, that thing you're doing there is costing lives. It's just a question of time. It will be overt. You know, it will be known because of the results that will emerge from the onslaught of our enemies against us. And while we are unprepared, while we are lackadaisical about it, while we are in denial about it, you know, why we are rather even sometimes acting nonchalantly about it. So these are things that we need to remove from ourselves. You know, a human being is a spirit. So, you know, be spirited about your ocean defense. Be spirited about your coming generation. Be spirited about how to provide security, and so that we can also political and military security for your people, because that's very necessary in these times, and how to protect yourself. That political and military security, we don't have it. And because we don't have economic security. Because if we have political and military security, we will have economic security. It will be there. It will be there. Some people are saying, oh, we'll get economic security first. But the problem with getting economic security is that the government, by making laws, our enemies are in the central government, making laws, are obstructing our plans to create economic security for ourselves. You see, when somebody rules over you, he determines what happens, and he will make the laws. This is what we're going through in Nigeria. Yeah, the Biafrans are going through. So, but concentrate, discuss, you know, make efforts. There is efforts that Ahmed said, efforts of unification. Just because you disagree with somebody on one thing doesn't mean you throw him away or you throw everything away. No, that's not how to think, you know. Look, in somebody will have 50%, 60%, 70%. You don't reject him and say he didn't pass because there is, let's say he had 50, there's 50%. Even if I would have to it, you can still improve on it. So it's good to use advanced thinking in order to work towards this. That I don't agree with you today does not mean I may not agree with you tomorrow. You see? Not somebody who disagrees with you, you label him, you call him maybe a saboteur or something. Don't do that type of thing. It's not proper. It's not proper. Look, God can bring our freedom in ways you don't know. It could be one person talking to another person somewhere. And that Biafra will come from that. So that's the power of God. You see what I'm saying? So you don't depend on one thing. Oh, that is just, or you say we're not going to our strength to get it. That's a fact. Because when we do it, we take the glory. But then God gets it, takes the glory. And God wants us to, you know, give him the glory, not to. And it's because of fighting over things based on ego. Your ego, my ego, I have to go first. I know it, I this. You know, those things, and they don't make things work for us as a people. No, it's not going to work. We need to, and it is our, what has inculcated those inclinations, behavioral inclinations, is materialism, idolatry, loving things, and, you know, one more than you love God, that gives those things and escape your life. But if we do right, it will be okay for us. So take Ahmed Kando's advice. These issues that are raised, discuss them. Don't shy away from them. Don't say it is left for somebody else to do. You are the person. You are the Biafran. You are the one to get Biafran. Discuss those issues. The information is there in the internet. Dig it. Be concerned about it, because it is your future. It is your identity. It is your land. It is your people. It is you. So be concerned. If you're not concerned about what affects you, Why? What else are you? And then you go concerned about what affects others? There is something wrong with that. Your priorities are wrong. So we change the priority. We're concerned about God. We're concerned about ourselves. We're concerned about our land and our future, our people. Then we're concerned about other people from there. Yes. It said, love yourself. Love somebody else as you love yourself. Let's love ourselves first, so we can love somebody else as we love ourselves. That's another way of looking at that instruction, which I believe is correct. So thank you very much, Maza Ahmed Fulukandi, for that. We have barely about maybe 20 minutes to close the broadcast. But I would like to mention certain things. One is the issue of Winston Wike's order of the military, giving them the go-ahead to go and massacre our people in Obigbo. This is an egregious crime against humanity. And like we said, he must be brought to book for that. Of course, he was answerable to that. So we put responsibility squarely on his shoulders for that heinous crime committed in Obigbo. So, but somebody else, an Ikwere man, wrote about Wike. We know that Wike has now been identified with having an identity crisis. He said, "Oh, he's not Igbo." So and someone wrote an article, and like I said before, his name is Uche Okuku, Dim Uche Okuku. He is from Ikwere, from Wike's town. And he was former secretary for Hanese. And then he wrote in Vanguard article, Saturday, December the 5th, this year, 2020. And the title was, "Why is Wike denying his Igbo roots?" So I'm going to read some excerpts for you, so you can understand also why the stand that Wike took is not necessarily the stand that Ikwere people are taking. It is actually against the stand that most Ikwere people are taking. And Ikwere who is who. So you don't go with Wike because he's governor, because our people always worship position. Governor Wike said. What he said, is it right or wrong? Go with whether it is right or wrong. Go whether it's the truth or a lie. Not just that Governor Wike, then that makes it right. No, that is not how so he says, some excerpt, it says, the Ngwa are Igbos. The Ikwere are Igbos. They are offspring of the same father. This is Uche Okuku writing. So the statement attributed to His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike, governor of Rivers State, was shocking. He said an illustrious Igbo son, and I believe he was referring to the Honorable Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Amechi, was only claiming to be Igbo to further his ambition of becoming Nigerian president some 2023. You see? Chibuike Amechi said he's Igbo, and Nyesom Wike is saying that he said he's Igbo in order to further his ambition of 2023. Can you imagine that? Because the answering Chibuike Amechi, which are clearly two Igbo names. We have a man called Basilika Amechi in Anambra State. Former First Republic Minister for Aviation, who said something about the governors of the East and how they have been selling out their people to Fulani interests. And Basilika Amechi is Igbo, and then you have Chibuike Amechi from Ikwere. So all of a sudden, one Amechi is not supposed to be Igbo, but the other Amechi is Igbo. Chibuike, which is clearly, these are two Igbo names, are not Igbo anymore. And this is what we find, there's something wrong with this man called Wike. Nyesom Wike. So they asked him to define his name. Wa Buike, that is what that name meant. Wa Buike. He couldn't define Wa, the first syllable of the name. When he wanted it, because Wa means son in Igbo. So as soon as he saw that, this is translating into Igbo, he said, okay, what of if I'm Igbo? This is what we're saying. Identity crisis. To the extent of going to kill your people, you are insane. Something is wrong with this man. And you see that he says here, agreed. Wike further disclaimed being Igbo himself. Agreed, Wike had the right to hold any view so far as it is within the ambit of the law and not counterproductive. He can define himself in any manner he deems fit. But Amechi, who holds the traditional chieftain title of Ochiari Ikwere, meaning the defender of Ikwere in times of difficulty, also has the same right to see and define himself as Igbo. Wike does not enjoy the prerogative of determining himself and at the same time defining others. Amechi was former national president of the National Union of Rivers State Students. He was former Speaker of Rivers State House Assembly, chairman of the Conference of Speakers in Nigeria, two-term governor of Rivers, chairman of the Governors Forum of Nigeria, and two-term Minister of Transportation. He's the first Nigerian to be appointed Minister of Transportation and first Ikwere to be appointed full-fledged Grade A Minister. As an Ikwere, I am proud of Amechi. As an Igbo, I am also proud of him. He said, quote, "Look, I'm Ikwere, but I'm also Igbo." But so saying, he did not in any way stop any Ikwere from presenting himself as non-Igbo. Such an Ikwere who denies his Igbo identity would have to explain himself to the gods. Amechi's assertion of his Igbo-ness on BBC should not cause anyone a headache. The Ikwere is Igbo. He says here, further, it is important to state for record purposes that historically, Ikwere has fully identified themselves as Igbos without suffering harms. Chief Joseph Nwobo, member of the Council of Chiefs of Eastern Nigeria, clearly stated he was an Igbo. Nobody can dismiss him as he defended the Ikwere land in colonial Nigeria. Sir Jackson MP, first and last Ikwere to be conferred with Knight of the Order of British Empire, OBE, by Queen Elizabeth II of England in 1960, identified himself as Igbo. From the ancient kingdom of Isiokpo, Sampi worked tirelessly for Igbo advancement. Dr. Obiwali was the first Ikwere PhD holder, senator and university lecturer. He was also the only Ikwere in the 1978 Constituent Assembly, where he was selected, one of the 50 wise men that drafted the 1979 Constitution. The great Dr. Wali identified fully with his Igbo heritage and was gruesomely assassinated defending it. Okobule, Wanodi, first Ikwere registrar of any university, first and only Ikwere poet, and paramount title holder of Eze, Ohiemeru. Ohiemeru, where you have present-day Comprehensive College in Borokiri, was his ancestral home. Before the British vacated them, between 1913 and 1923, Wanodi remained a respected member of Nzuko Igbo and Ohaneze Ndigbo till the end of his life. Patriot Emmanuel Aguma was former mayor of Port Harcourt as principal of St. John's College, Diobu. He was the first Ikwere to head any college. One of 6 pre-independence Ikwere University graduates, former administrator of Port Harcourt province in the defunct People's Republic of Biafra. First Ikwere minister in 1979, Aguma remained a member of Ohaneze Ndigbo. Emmanuel Origi was respected local government administrator, traditional ruler, a commissioner in Old Rivers, and core Igbo nationals. The immediate past deputy secretary general of Ohaneze Ndigbo. Chief Isaac Wong is an illustrious Ikwere son from Elele. He is known to assert his Igbo identity. Equally valid, Chief Jackson Nwomenazu from Rumukrushi in Evo Kingdom is a member of the Elders Council of Ohaneze Ndigbo. In colonial documents written when Igbos had no capacity to influence anything, Ikweres also defined themselves as Igbos. When Ikwere leaders presented their case before the 1957 Sir Henry Willings Commission, Wobo declared that Ikweres were Igbos and Port Harcourt to Onitsha was Igbo land. The cream of Ikwere land have asserted their Igbo-ness, most illustrious sons and daughters. Tell me, any Ikwere whose CV can match those of MP Wobo, Aguma, Wanodi, Dr. Wali, or Amechi. The Ikwere space and survival. We must resolve all outstanding issues occasioned by the military-inspired partition of Ikwere land as war booty. Our irreducible stand includes 1. Ikweres are Igbos, and Ikwere land is so important to the Igbo that they will never take any step to destroy Ikweres or toy with their destiny. In geostrategic terms, Ikwere land is the tongue of the Igbo race to the sea. 2. We are aware there are plans to landlock the Igbo nation. These plans are rooted in history. My brother and personal friend Wike should not be a crusader for such plans because it will be resisted with the sword, as no nation will allow itself to be landlocked. All legitimate moral and spiritual means available to Ndigbo will be used to resist the excise of Ikwere land from the larger Igbo land. 3. Obi-Igbo means heart of Igbo land. It is the right name for the local government area. Oyi-Igbo means nothing and was never and will never be the name of Obi. The British met local people on ground who said their word was called Obi. Any researcher can go there and verify for himself. None should be persecuted for calling Obibo its original pre-Civil War name. I, Uche Okuku, call it Obibo, and I have no apologies for that. 4. Ohiemeru is the original name for Burukiri. See that? It was British who removed the indigenous Ikwere population there before declaring the place crown land between 1930 and 1923. Equally, so Iguacha or Diobu is the original name for Port Harcourt. We must set the record straight. 5, demographically and historically, Igbos constitute the majority in Niger Delta. Wike's idea of the region is flawed considering the 9 states make up the Niger Delta Development Commission, namely Imo, Abia, Delta, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, Ondo, and Rivers. It is absurd and unacceptable stating that Umuagwo is not in the Niger Delta, but Ogoja is. Be that as it may, there is now a statutory definition of region manifest in the NDDC Act. Any definition that excludes the Igbo from the Niger Delta or tends to disenfranchise them from the privileges thereof is unacceptable. This is because there were plans in the past that destroyed any benefit coming to the Igbo. Boundary adjustments were carried out to remove oil-producing areas from the former East Central state. 6, in terms of ethnicity and language, Igbos are also in the majority in Rivers. It is fallacious that there are no Igbos here. Igbos are here because Ikweres are Igbos. Obas are Igbos. Ekpeyes are Igbos. Eches are Igbos. Obi-Igbos are Igbos. So no one can talk about Igbos coming in to cause trouble. You see the language of Nike. You see, Igbos are peaceful. Rivers is our home, and we are its autochthones. 7, Beninese have no cultural or historical link with Ikweres. We worship different gods, have different market days with different monarchical structures. Our kingship is not from father to son like the Beninese. Our kingship is based on gerontocracy, where the oldest person assumes leadership. What brought us together was the 1914 amalgamation. No pre-colonial or colonial records has it that Ikweres migrated from Benin. The post-war purported claim that Ikweres are Beninese is parasitic, defeatist, and self-hate. 8, Ikwere land is heavily garrisoned. 2 million Ikweres in 4 local government areas are tightly sandwiched by 2 naval barracks at Iwofe and Borkiri, 2 army barracks at Port Harcourt and Elele, Air Force Base in Port Harcourt and an army shooting range in Iguruta. Large swaths of land were appropriated for the building of the international airport, University of Port Harcourt and East Teaching Hospital, Rivers State University, Ignatius Ajuru University, Nigerian Television Authority, Area 1 Seaport, etc. We believe in the unity of this country, but the federal government should dismantle the military formations and return their locations to land bereft inner city Ikwere. That's your problem. You believe in the unity of the country, after they have been messing the whole place up. Our burgeoning population has no living space, and this could lead to the Oromo experience. Why is Wike denying his Igbo roots? Wike is an illustrious Ikwere son, and for emphasis, he's an Igbo man. A kettle might call itself an native kettle, but it remains a kettle. Wike will do himself great service to forget the purported prejudice of the past and assert his Igbo-ness. You don't deny your own roots because they may not be there anymore when later you need them. All those who deny their people have always regretted it. I'll repeat that again. He says, all those who deny their people have always regretted it. Was Wike not doing an overkill saying that an Igbo son desirous to be president was claiming to be Igbo? His utterance undermines our 2023 presidential project. There's those going for presidential project. My real pain concerning Wike's outburst is why he chose these trying moments when some mischievous Nigerians lumped in Igbo with IPOB. It is frightening. I would like to know who is writing the script for him. There was no nexus between the NSAS protest and innocent Igbo desirous to be president. Where is the link? So, and I think I'll stop here. So that's basically it. And I want to say that even what he said about IPOB, we must not disparage organizations simply because that are fighting for the cause of their people, methods, and even intents which are undeterminate. You can determine the heart of someone easily. Or it can be for other people. but the actions on the ground of fighting for somebody's freedom should not be condemned. And Nigeria has been a problem, but this article reveals to you the great mistake that Wike has made in ever saying he's not Igbo people. When, the vast majority, probably 85% or more, definitely, of Rivers State is Igbo. Rivers is Igbo land, and that's why was it called Rivers? Rivers is not an indigenous name. It was just borrowed there so that they can separate Igbo land. See how they separate us? They carve some of us out and then give us names and tell them they don't belong to the other group and all the rest of them. And people accept that. And when you accept that, you become a tool in the hands of the enemy. Then they name the other side Cross River. But there are Igbo people in Cross River. Igbo people are in Abi local government. Igbo people are in Obobra. These are Igbo Cross Rivers. Igbo people, key people are Igbo. Iyala comes from Idoma. Idoma is Igbo. Idoma is in Benue State. There are Igbo people. Arago is in Nazarawa. Arago is from Idoma. So Arago is Igbo people. These are people who migrated from Adoni Du section from the west and came into that area. We have the Wanke in Edo State. They are partly Igbo. We have the Igala who is in Kogi State. They are part, and there's some Igala in Anambra as well. So these are Igbo people. So we have Igbo even in Bayelsa. So the Igbo are actually, we talk about 5 Southeast states because they are trying to make us smaller in the map. But the Igbo are in 14 states in Nigeria. 14 states in Nigeria. That's where they're indigenous to. So these games, it's important that we are aware of it, and it's time to resist them. The time is now. So I thank you all for listening. I will want our sister Oziomeme to give us closing comments, and we will round up for the day. Our sister Oziomeme, if I can be able to be connected to her. If not, yes, okay, yeah,
I'm here.
Successful. Yeah.
Thank you for a wonderful program, Mazi Odemoal. And I thank you, Mazi Anemene, for putting this together. I thank all my fellow panelists. Chusi Kedigwe, thank you for being on-ground research, publicity. You do it all. Thank you so much. And your writings are extraordinary, very educational and informative. And I thank you for the woofer. That's an avenue for our young people to get involved with the rest of the world, regardless of whatever else that's going on there. Give them an avenue to explore their talents. Thank you for that. Mazio Kando, thank you. It's been a while. Thank you for your research, for your input, for your advice. You are wonderful. You are awesome. My fellow Biafrans and all the listeners, lovers of freedom, thank you for being a part of this program. I'm not going to take much of your time. It's been a time well spent. We have to continue fighting until we win. That's my mantra here. We need to keep putting one step in front of the other until we win. Regardless of what the weakest and the governors and all the people who take advantage of their position, and instead of fighting for the people that they're supposed to represent, they're fighting against us, either killing us or contracting with their masters to kill us so they can rise up in their position. The unfortunate thing they don't know, maybe they have amnesia to, is that God will always get the consequences of their actions, whether good or bad or indifferent. And these consequences will go to generations upon generations. So it will not stop from you, the people that are making the mess. So regardless of what that is, we have to focus on who our Creator is. He has made us and He gave us each a plan and He gave us a purpose, and we have to live it out. And if your purpose is to fight for your fellow man, then do that and do it very well to appreciate the Creator, God, who made you and gave you that purpose. So let us all continue to march forward. One day we will all live to celebrate Biafra. It will come, and it has to come because the time is here for it to come. So we'll continue working and we'll continue persevering until we win. On that note, I say goodbye to everyone for now. Stay safe, stay healthy, so that we will all realize Biafra when it's here. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great and blessed weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our lovely sister Oziomeme. Okay, I would like to call on Chuksi Kedigwe to give us closing remarks, 5 minutes or 3 minutes closing remark before we call it a day. Mazi Chuksi Kedigwe. It's because we've already spent 3 hours, which is just about the limit of what we spent. I would like to call on Mazi Hamefulu Kando.
Okay. Chuks is there. Sorry.
Chuks, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Just the closing
using this opportunity to thank everybody. Thank all Biafrans. Also extending our condolences to the family of our late fallen hero that was buried this week. We're using this opportunity as BRF to extend amounts of condolence to them. This is the time, the opportunity that we all Biafrans have gotten to do what we have to do. This opportunity might not really be there every other time. Since we have it now, we must take advantage of it. The ICC must prepare ourselves. Everybody has been offended. We must, as a group, okay, because as a group or individuals, reach out to ICC to make sure that whatever they say will have is included in the investigation that ICC prosecutor is actually carrying out. So we must make sure that everybody that is involved in the killing of our people actually mentioned, because it's the totality of this is I will give our distance the bite teeth, and it will be very bad at the end of the day when the whole investigation is concluded that the killing of Biafrans won't be mentioned, because that's where it will look like if you don't submit this in, if you don't submit. If we just talk about the killing of Shag, the calling of the people that the Nigerian security forces bombed their district from a plane, from a fighter plane. Just talk about this. We are mentioning of our, if we do not give them what we've passed through, and that's why it's very important that those who have the records to keep it intact and then use it to reach out to the people that matters. And then finally, WUFA is here. Biafra is down in a member of WUFA. So you must take advantage of it. You must use it to reach out to the people that will help us. These are the ways that people actually get things done. People do not fight individually. No, you must actually learn to organize, join groups, join associations that will move your motions to the right people who might be willing to help. This is how it's done. So we must appreciate everybody, and we ask everybody who's a Biafran. This is a golden opportunity for you to wear the color of Biafra and actually play for Biafra. So let's just do it. WUFA gives us the opportunity. And 2021 will be the first tournament for it. We don't forget, 2022 will be a kind of World Cup. And in 2021, we're having many tournaments spread all over America, South America, Asia, and other parts of Europe. So we must take advantage of them. And then I know that BRM as a group will be trying to see if we can get this tournament to be played here in Biafra land. Okay, as time progresses, which will maybe in 2022. We must work towards it, because it's going to be it's going to be an avenue for the world to know what we've been passing through. We must work towards it, and those who can support this time for you to reach out to BRM, and let's plan it together. This is a victory for all of us, and we must all take advantage of this victory to expand our reach and then let the world know what will be suffering. Thank you, Mazod. Thank you, Biafrans, for listening. I remain your brother, Chuksikiri.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chuksikiri, a wonderful brother, for your work and your sacrifice. We appreciate you. Appreciate all of what you're doing towards the freedom of our people. And may God bless your efforts and bless ours as well. Ahmed Kando, we're calling you to give us a 5 minutes closure remark. Yeah.
Thank you again, Mazumogalo. I'm not going to say so much. There's only a pointer with regard to the ICC. That's where I will really want to mention briefly. I remember the last time Mazi Mabalasi, when he came on our Radio Biafra International, he spoke, and we understood from him the documentations he has is in his database is so extensive that at any time we are prepared to present such documentation, say like the ICC, which has arisen now, thank God for it. We are going to, I would like to talk to Mazi Anemena, because that was when we were having some broadcasts that time. I remember that very clearly. He promised us that. So I'm going to reach out to Mazi Anemena to be able to reach out to Mazi Mabalasi. And he said, I think he gave us some documentation at that time. We are going to put this together, be prepared, and listen to all other associations, because I know that some of the associations are also trying to do this together. We don't want to do. We will be better. We'll be in a better advantageous position if we can all put this together and speak as one voice. That's what I wish. So let BRM, Radio Biafra International, try as much as possible, use this information, start putting things together. But that of Umabalas is the best database we have right now. So we are going to keep our ears open to know what other groups are doing, so that we can also have ours to put together. Gradually, discussions are being held here and there. We want Biafra to go as one voice, one people, and we should stop all these divisions. So that's my own contribution. That's all I really want to say. And in addition to other things I have always said, let us work together. It does not matter who is the leader, okay? Because that leader cannot do the whole job in Biafra. Everybody will have an assignment to do. And we focus on that. Even our leader cannot just go to represent us without adequate consultation, because that is the problem we are having in the entirety of our place. Okay, we consult, but we have not been able to give authority to whoever is the person, a spokesperson, for him to learn how to be humble. Because no matter what you know, you come to me in humility, I will listen to you. But if you want to be arrogant, I will tell you that arrogance is not acceptable in my own psychic. So those are the kinds of things. As we are doing things, let us check ourselves, our languages, whatever we say. Let it be something that unifies us more than dividing us. Thank you very much, Maza Moalo, for the extended broadcast today. Thank you for Mazi and Nemena and the members of the panel. I really thank you. My sister Joma, as usual, we love you. You take care of yourself, Mazi Kedigwe, and all the other people in here. Let us continue doing what we are doing, for God is hearing our voices. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okando. Bye.
Thank you so much, able veteran. Mazi Hamefulukandi, is always a pleasure to hear from you. And thank you. I want to reiterate what he said about Intersociety. Intersociety has some very wonderful data. I mean, these are our people, and it shows how our people can work and what they can produce. The Intersociety, Umar Balasi, who has, we need him here in Radio Biafra International, looking to help educate our people. It's amazing what the data they have and how they have collated this data. And I believe that also the data on Obibo case will be put together so that we can file that at the International Criminal Court, as expected. So I use the opportunity to thank Mazi Kennawanoneni. These are the pillars of this radio station. Mazi Kennawanoneni, as a veteran too, is not here. Mazi Ejiofor Chinawata, who has been, without Ejiofor Chinawata, you wouldn't have Radio Biafra International and people like him and Wanoneni. So we thank them profusely from our hearts for all the efforts they have been making. Mazinze Felix Mosu, Professor Chris Ogbo, Ms. Sebibo, and of course, our own fantastic technocrat, Leo Anyamena, technocrat of international repute. We cannot ever forget him. Without him functioning in the background and the base and foundation of the Radio Biafra International, it wouldn't be possible to bring you this broadcast. So we thank them and thank you, Biafrans, who are listeners. We thank you that is working in different organizations, in different groups, and what you're doing to ensure that our people are free. We thank you for promoting peace, for promoting the truth, for speaking out, for also getting ready just in case our Lord may need us to fight this fight physically. And we will do that if that is what it calls for. But we must be free. We cannot succumb to slavery. We thank you for all the efforts you're making. We thank you for promoting righteousness. And from me here, Odi Moalo, for now, it is goodbye till we broadcast again. Thank you so much and God bless you.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Yes, this is not a matter of debate. All we want is Biafra people.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. Oh Lord, my God. Oh Lord, my God. We need our freedom. We need justice to reign. We need our freedom. We need justice to reign. Killing and fighting everywhere. We need justice to reign. Justice everywhere. Brother do not know his brothers anymore. Let us keep our hands together as one. Peace to reign. Oh Lord, my God. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra.
Louder I can the beat. I am here calling you, oh Lord, praying to you, singing to you, oh Yahushua, because they made us slaves in our own land. I can remember once upon a time in the Bible where the Israelites used songs and praises to lead on the wall of Jericho. This is the kind of miracle we need for our freedom. We know you can answer us as you answer Israelite the days of their slavery in Egypt. Them and shoot us, them and kill us. Bloodshed everywhere. Give us Biafra, give us freedom. Oh Lord, Yahushua, I call upon you.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom.
The more we fight together, 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 the more we fight together, and stronger we shall be. The more we fight together, 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 the more we fight together, and stronger we shall be.
Rising sun, rising sun. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. We've been crying, the world claim not to hear. And we've been lamenting, the world claim not to hear. Our tears flow, the world claim not to see. And our blood flow, the world claim not to see. This is a crime, oh no, against humanity. Oh no, yeah, this is a crime. Eritrea spoke up, they were given independence. South Sudan spoke, they were given independence. Namibia spoke up, they were given independence. Give me the reason my people got to be neglected. Give me the reason my people got to be rejected. Give me the reason our freedom got to be a crime. Give me the reason our own freedom got to be denied. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it. Oh no. Whoa. That was physical battle, and we're betrayed by the people them trust. Today zeros are fighting. This is a spiritual battle. Let us unite and give Biafra a meaning. If we don't take time, we can remain in this life. No freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of worship, no freedom of religion. Justice denied. Oh, of my own very people. Hey. Justice denied. Hey. On the rising sun. Hey. Justice denied. Oh, my freedom fighter. Yeah. What is so bad? My people wanna be liberated. What is so bad? My people wanna be independent. What is so bad? My people wanna be alone. This is the time we will make it known to the world. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hospitality, positive, education, positive, economic, positive, hospitality. I tell you what, positive. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africans. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. My people will cry. Biafrans will cry. My people are suffering. Oh, Biafrans are crying. Yeah.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people, you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts and you'll be glad you did.
Master 2020. I think champion of Bakola Kungwe no before you became with you. Because when you stay safe, we must have coronavirus money from what they say about holiday now. What can you get the idea? I want to know before you became with you.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.